Futures pointing to another positive start this morning. We're back to the upside once again, a full percent for the S&P at this point, coming off a bunch of bank earnings in the pre-market this morning. The S&P back towards that key 4,400 resistance area that we kind of stalled out at last week, if you remember. Several banks reporting in the pre-market, BAC, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, all mostly positive, so all moving to the upside for the most part. We'll talk about bank earnings coming up here. Also, stocks tied to the reopening of economies doing well this morning. Travel stocks I speak of. Also, energy stocks. Big move back to the upside this morning for some of the oil companies. Crude oil itself in positive territory. A lot of talk about higher demand coming, lifting crude prices. Yesterday, pretty muted action overall right across all three U.S. markets. We got that CPI data out in the pre-market that was a little bit higher than expected, kind of put a bit of a damper on the session yesterday, but a little more positive here so far. We're going to talk about Boeing coming up here, more issues with Boeing. They did just come out before we came on there saying that they've identified the issues and there's no immediate security or safety concerns for any planes that are currently in fleet. So we'll have a look at Boeing and Walgreens, the other one, also positive this morning off of earnings. It's Thursday, October 14th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. As I said, yeah, nicely positive now. 1.2% for the NASDAQ, full percent for the ES, 0.8 there for the Dow. You can see right across the board, top to bottom, good to see everything to the upside. Ethereum bouncing back nicely there at the bottom, 4.5%. It has been lagging ever so slightly to Bitcoin over the past couple of days. Good morning, guys. We made it to Thursday. It is an earnings-filled Thursday morning. Lots of reports to, what is that, a camel?
A llama.
Yeah. Look.
It's no problem. Oh, a llama.
No problema.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
No problema today because, like you mentioned there, Brendan, bank earnings, no problema with those as well. Microsoft, no problema. Everything.
Well, I got two problems. Everything is great in the markets except for two things. Boeing, which I think you alluded to there, Brendan, because they can't seem to get out of their own way. And the other one is, hey, it's been a while since we've had some regulation come from China that's going to be knocking down a few stocks. So watching some Tiger and some Futu as they're going to be weak today. So, actually just got into some Futu right now to the short side, obviously, because I don't know if I can go long that stock unless it wants to get a bit of a dead cat bounce yet. So lots to look at today, obviously. Great start to the second half of the week.
Salad.
For sure. Already.
Yeah, we're having the fruit salad, some nice grapes there. Let's get energized. Let's get ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a good day for sure for us here. I mean, yesterday, what a great run the market's been on here. And I actually mentioned yesterday, remember I said we may have missed the boat, man. If you didn't buy in the last couple of weeks, I was able to buy a few names. You know that. You may have missed it. We said to buy the first week in October. That may have been the bottom. I don't know how we called that, but it may have been the bottom. We'll see what happens moving forward right now. But look at Microsoft, man. We just got into that name. Holding very small now. But $300, we're right back, man. The bulls are kicking on Softy. And we talked about this last week when we said buy the high-quality names. And Microsoft right now, just what a run that's been on. 290. I mean, it's not, on percentage-wise, it's not that good. But, as a stock, it really held up near the top there, Microsoft. So getting back to all-time highs again, and the market's not even really that close to all-time highs yet, so it's nice to see those kind of names running. I think it might be time to pick up some Apple as well. You see SoFi near $20 again today, Brendan. It's going to be a busy one. Yeah,
going to be a busy one, guys. We have some Microsoft news related to Shopify as well, so we're going to talk about that coming up. Before we do, let's get over to say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. I wish you a wonderful, profitable day. Please enjoy the show and make sure to smash the like button. Let's get it started, Brendan.
Let's indeed. Here we go. Some headlines for you today. We'll talk a little bit about Microsoft here, Sean. Headline with, that's not it, here we go. Enlisting Microsoft and Oracle for business tools on their app. So new combination with Shopify, Microsoft, and Oracle. So Shop in New York, also traded here in Toronto, up 1.5%. You just looked at Microsoft there as well.
I mean, probably bigger story for Shopify, like you're mentioning there, because I mean, Microsoft, Oracle, I mean, they're doing deals with a lot of these businesses, and I mean, the cloud just continues to be king, I think, and you know, Microsoft. Like I said, I mean, you stick with companies that actually make money, and I think that Microsoft's a great one in this spot. Shopify, if you want to look at that quickly here. So I'm already long Microsoft. I mean, breaking through 300, I'm going to be long that name. The only thing is, as you see the market starting to pull back here, I really feel like, you know, if we can... That 15,000 is getting close, but if we can hold somewhere around here where the 50-period moving average is like 14,900 or so, then I think, that's a little bit higher, but I think that's going to be pretty key. You're going to watch it fade out right now. So it's a small position on Microsoft, but I did want to talk about Shopify quickly because they've been getting beat down a little bit. And I know this is a name that ARK has been talking about a little bit with, of course, is Kathy Wood. She's been looking at this name, and you see a nice little bump up today, a little bit of a runner in the last couple days on this name. You know, we did touch down at 1,200. Now you're back to 14. So a Shopify, a name that, again, you know, would really like to get into this, to be honest with you. It's a small business play. They make, you know, selling online and everything, web building, the payment processing and everything. So Shopify is like an all-in-one tool here, and now they're just adding more to the repertoire. So you're getting close for a buy here. I think we should maybe pick up some Shopify right now. It is expensive, but like I say, if you just put the zero over, the decimal place over a couple points here, it's like a $15 stock. Does it have room to go to 16? Yeah, it does. So 1,400 upside. I like Shopify right now. Just coming off some of this dip, and that was a good opportunity. We talked about that. This is a daily chart. So we talked about the first week in October. That would have been down here at 1,300. So hopefully we get a little bit of a bump up from Shopify up through 1,450. I like the name. I think it needs to be bought. I don't own any, so might start nibbling in on Shopify. To me, that's a more interesting story.
So you know, when I started putting the 200 period on my charts, Shopify was one of the reasons. I actually do own Shopify shares, but when I looked back at this stock, and it's not just look at the previous breakout price. You got to go all the way back to June at that 1280 price, and then it basically wicks through 1,300 into that 200 period moving 200 moving average, and then bounces off that 1280, and then you get a bit of a run. And Facebook on its down day, it bounced off the 200 period. So I'm going to start looking at it a little bit more, especially in more extreme markets, right? Like when you overextend to the upside, or when you're in that deep pullback. But great news for Shopify. I mean, I like I also like Oracle as well, but like Sean said, this is more likely to affect Shopify, and it's getting to some interesting prices. Like it's going to be probably a day's work away from getting back to the 50 period in a key 14.5 level trading here in the U.S.
At this point, we were talking a little bit about Apple. Guys back higher this morning in the pre-market. Sean, you mentioned some analysts were probably going to start downgrading this thing after that iPhone 13 announcement. Here's the first. Needham analyst cutting. I mean, it's not a price target cut. It's not a downgrade for the stock itself, but simply just cutting their estimates on iPhone 13 shipments because of that manufacturing problem that they're going to end up having. Remember yesterday, going from 90 million down 10 million, so I guess around 80 million is what their target will be. So Needham, the first one out here. But as I said, guys, I mean, full percent so far for Apple.
I mean, yeah, we had, so in predicting the future, we had that exact call yesterday on the sticky note where we said that, they're going to be absolutely fine. And obviously this is going to be a supply issue, not a demand issue, and that you'd have people come out soon and start to say the same thing. So obviously Apple doesn't care about that because they know that what's good. No one's switching out of iOS. So it's people switching over the other way. So, they're not worried about anything. They're up that 1%. Down here, we talked about this 139, and wasn't able, I didn't pick anything up. I did sell at 152, about a quarter of my Apple position. I need to get back in now because it's just going to start to run. So, I mean, Apple right here, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if we're out of the woods yet, but, it did make some dip downs here, and it held. So, in all these supply issues, in that release that they had, stating, I think, was it UBS or something, stating that, Texas Instruments, things like that, they're going to have supply issues. There's going to be a chip shortage, all this kind of stuff. So a lot of negativity came out, and it was just on Friday, that story. And then, no, it wasn't Friday. It was Monday. Was it Monday? Is it today? Thursday? Was it Monday after
Tuesday,
market?
wasn't it?
Was it Tuesday after market? That story came out. But either way, man, like we held this 139.50, and now you're going right back to the upside. So if they're not going going to be worried about supply or anything like that, then I'm not worried about anything either, because I know where Apple, their products, the quality of their products, I know the demand that they have, I know that the loyalty that Apple has. So for me, Apple's only up, what, 7% on the year? We talked about that earlier, maybe even less than that. So, hey, I think Apple needs to be bought here. I love the name, and I don't really have any levels for a day trade today. But, I mean, you could just go long and take it. I mean, yesterday, look, this is all I was doing yesterday. Look, this is why I believe in it, right? It was just at 139 yesterday. Look at these buys, 139.80, 139.60, 139.20, all the way up. And then we got out at 140.77. So that's a $1.60 win right there to end the day yesterday with Apple. So we held it all the way to the close. You see, that's the closing print right there. That's us getting out of Apple. So we hold it all the way to the close yesterday on long. So, hey, like, I put my money where the mouth is, and hopefully Apple can do the same thing today. We'll see about picking up any dips. If we can get something into 140, 150, we'll take it. But for right now, Apple continues to be a beast, I think.
Yeah, those that were related to Apple in terms of the chip space definitely got hurt, and the ones that were not benefited from that, and that's another thing we'll be looking at. Trades not showing up, sometimes they do. I wish they would in this particular case, because I want to show NVIDIA here, which was one of the benefactors relatively strong yesterday's action. We're gapping right back into this 213.30 level. If it rings a bell, it's because on the 7th, we were dip buying into 210, into that 213 range, like from here to here. And then you go all the way back to the 27th here, like it was a few Mondays ago, when you had a floor at that same 213.30. So you had a 213.30 floor, we gap below it, hang out into resistance for a couple of weeks, test it. There was a dip buy in that particular range, and now we're gapping and testing that top. I'm looking for a breakout here on NVIDIA, but if the last time we tested this level, it was a dip by 210 to 250, 210 to 210.50, all the way to 213. I mean, I'll take that trade if that's what wants to come first. So if in the event that the market turns around here, I'm both dip buying that 210.50 into 213, and I'd like that breakout trade there. Another interesting play, I guess, in sort of related in the space, I see people in the chat talking about ASML, which is interesting in its own right, would be Qualcomm, which we don't need to bring up the chart, but sort of getting out from under Apple as well, and showing some signs of strength.
All right, a few people talking about this Grove Incorporated, GRVI, up on this UpXE, which is going to be a division. I guess they're going to start acquiring promising Amazon and e-commerce businesses. So that GRVI doing all kinds of volume here in the pre-market. Speaking of stocks such as GRVI, I'm sure our friend Luis Barbados joining us this morning from Barcelona, Spain, the Day Trade the World office over in Barcelona. GRVI, Luis, right up your alley. Are you looking at that one today?
Yes, of course, we are looking at that one. That's exactly the kind of stocks we really like. Jumping with a lot of volume, catalyst, a big new on it. So yes, we are looking at GRVI very closely. 820s is an important level to break. If it breaks there, let's see if it goes to all-time highs. It's 910, 920s, I think, all-time highs. So it's important levels are on there. I think it's right now, it's hard to locate, but we will check it. Look at 820s right now, trying to break high of the day. So very interesting stock, Brendan.
How much do you pay attention to, Luis? We've had over the past week or so a number of little, very, very low float, stocks with a little bit higher short percentage, go on these amazing runs over, 2 or 3 days. But then, as we saw in DATS yesterday,
Yes.
a fall from grace, if you will, a big move back to the downside. I just checked here. The free float on GRVI is 6.9 million shares. How much do you pay attention to that?
What's the short float right now? Can you check GRVI short float? We pay attention of the low float, of course. It has traded already 7 millions today. So the whole company has been traded already, GRVI, something crazy. We pay attention to the float. We pay a lot of attention to the short float. So what's the percentage of the float going short in the market? So that's very important if you want to see short squeeze. If, let's say, that was around 50% short float, 50% of the float is short. So if you see a runner like 2 or 3 days ago, shorts are getting a squeeze, are getting caught in the wrong position. They have to close position and it comes parabolic movements. But it reached some point that all shorts are mostly out, taking the losses. So you see a flash, as we saw yesterday, from 1550 was a very important support, 1550. It broke, down and halted. So everybody was out of the position already. So a lot of attention to the float and the short float of the stock.
Just double checking here. I see actually very, very small. It's less than 1%. It's about 0.8% on GRVI. So we'll watch that one carefully. Going back to Dat Chat, after we get that flush out yesterday, maybe get some people out that shouldn't have been in it where they were in it. On a day like today, so we're coming in probably day 3, day 4, how do you approach that trade?
Very low volume today. We were expecting a little bit pullback again to $11. It didn't get there. 1060, 1080s. We don't see any strength today, so probably we'll go to 1 digit in the session today. It has to go again in the social media to try to push it through $11. But if it keeps this low volume, we won't be trading that today. Not enough volume for us to scalp in and out fast as we like.
Speaking of social media interest, there's CETX, that Chemtrex today. Also PROG I saw was high on the list as well as far as mentions on the internet. What else are you looking at today?
Yeah, as you say, CETX, interest, but not enough noise right now. It's 220, 215. It has to go over 225 to get in play. Let's say we have some important levels around 250 to 60, as I remember, I think. NRXP is another stock we're looking at, 34% up. 1250 should be a support in the pre-market session, 1350 high of the day. So yeah, NRXP is another ticker we're looking at today.
Louis, we're all obviously getting back into earnings season as well. Once we do get into the full swing of things, when earnings reports start coming in, we tend to see a little bit of a shift in focus away from some of these high flyers over to some of the bigger companies that have the attention because of the report and because of the news. Does that matter in your mind when it comes to some of these stocks, specifically the ones that we're seeing this attention come from social media and things of that nature versus the fundamental or the more fundamental type of trade like an earnings report?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We see some shift of the volume to these blue chips when earnings season comes in. We are lucky in this environment. We still have one or two or three small cap every day, but we also move a little bit of our trading to blue chips if the earnings is remarkable. If we see something important, yesterday we traded Plug, for example. Today we're looking the financial sector, the banks mainly. Only if the earnings is moving the stock, let's say over 1.5, 2% up or down. Otherwise, we are not trading it. It's anyway blue chip. So it has to move the stock at least a couple of points to become interesting for us. The watch list, the stock picking is very important for all the strategies, but for our strategy, it's even more important. I'm going to show you here very briefly the screen of yesterday and how important it is to pick good stocks. Yesterday, you see this heat map, okay, AFRM, Plug, cost. We selected, I think, the right stocks, and you have here the proof. AFRM, 97% of winning ratio yesterday on this stock. Plug, 99%. We only missed one single trade in the whole day in Plug. ORPH, 100% winning ratio. So it is very important that you select good the stock picking every day. So let's see if today GRVI and NRXP give us a decent profit.
Very, very good point. Got to go where the action is, especially if you are a short-term trader as we are. You took the thought right out of my mind, I guess. Plug Power, more news on Plug today. You're going to be looking at that one.
Yes, absolutely. Yesterday was very, very active. We did like in the office, I think was like 300 trades, no single losing trade almost, only one or two trades losing. If it has volume, it is an important level. So we're going to look to it because it's breaking highs, but then down. So we have this noise that we like to go in and out. We like the level 2. It's definitely an edge on Plug, the level 2. So yes, we are going to focus on Plug again. Day 2, it's very interesting for us.
Barbato joining us once again from the Day Trade the World office over in Barcelona, Spain. Best of luck. Lots to look at this morning, so we'll let you get back to it.
Thank you, Brendan. See you.
Best of luck today. Guys, that plug still very, very active here in the pre-market. As we said, more news, more positive news for plug today.
Yeah, I'm in plug power here. I got it at 34.10. It's gone up and down. We could have taken 30, 40 cents on this trade a couple times here, but we didn't. I like the momentum. I mean, the momentum's huge, and that's, Luis was talking about that, and thanks for coming on. Again, Luis, good friend of the show, of course, and Day Trade the World. So this bottom, it doesn't get, again, much better than this. I mean, then they come out with news, they got the new van out, things pumping. So, I mean, obviously we wish we were long down here, and congratulations to anybody that is, because you're spitting out some cash right now. Shout out to Hydration Nation as well, as I'll put my water right here so I don't hit it over. So it's a big momentum play, and we just decided to go along with it. So it does come dip down into this 34 area. To me, I mean, 33 maybe down here where we held yesterday. If for some reason it's a sell the news event today. But, it's still to the upside here. I'm looking at, I thought I have an offer around 50 here. Yeah, I do. So right around this area right here, right where VWAP is. So we'll see if we can't take out 30 pennies a little bit and then see if we go to the high side. But yeah, I like plug power here. Just great momentum on the daily chart. I mean, from 24 to 34 is obviously overextended, but hey, who am I to say that? So we'll wait to see where the market goes from here. But I like plug power today, up 2%. And again, on my watch list, one. And thanks for Luis for saying this, because again, we had 5 names on the watch list today. We had only 4 names on the watch list yesterday. So, keep them specific, try to hit the best trades you can, and I think plug power could be one of those today.
Yeah, plug has been great for a couple of days now. It's got such a fantastic momentum breakout. We're talking about this all day yesterday, and one of the things we looked at, of course, when we were analyzing it, because we're sitting in the long all day long, was this 35 level, and we said, hey, that your break was from this 30-ish breakout here into a 35 resistance, right? So you come in today and, we're sitting in front of that 35 resistance, and then what happens, right? It starts selling off at that 35. Now I'm sitting a little bit deeper in some of that post-market action and close action in front of like a 33.5 to 33.75. That's the range I prefer it on a dip buy. It's almost splitting hairs today. If it can shoot through that 35, it's gone. The 2 times it broke, it actually almost got a full dollar before reversing back in. So you want to watch out. Even if it breaks 35, there could be some extension, past like a few pennies or so, and it still might be a bit of a fail break. But I love plug. I think this breakout has been long coming for this name, and it's probably going to hold some 30 support even on any kind of a dip. That's further than what I'd like to get as a dip buy here today.
All right, a few analyst moves this morning of note today. This one interesting, guys. AT&T back to the upside. We talked about AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile just crushed over the past couple of days. So a bit of a bounce here back for T anyways. Oxy on here, Ulta Beauty, McDonald's. They don't like the retailers today. Bed Bath & Beyond, TJX, Wayfair as well, and Western Union all to the downside.
Probably just profit taking there. The retails. I was actually talking with my kid, and shout out to Baxter heading back to Waterloo. He has an interview with BlackBerry today, Neil. Anything you want me to tell him to tell those guys? Like maybe make another phone or send you like an old stock certificate from when it was Research in Motion or something?
I could probably find an old stock certificate.
Research in Motion, a Canadian legend.
Yeah, and I know people that own RIM. By the way, so just that Futu, I'm out of that Futu. Because every single time, these Chinese stocks, man, I don't know. It was the same thing with EDU that one day. I just got out of that one. But what I will say is this, Google's a good company. No, I'm not.
Google, yeah. So he's
I'm
going
just
to have a Google interview as well. But I mean, I just want him to get a damn job. So that's my thing. I
only said that because I know he had the interview for Google.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I mean that's still in the application process. But you talked about McDonald's there, Brendan. I mean, they're coming out with news right now, just 2 seconds ago. Well, and by 2 seconds ago, I mean 8 minutes ago. Beyond Meat testing. So with MCD. So there it is, Beyond Meat. There, nice little break. This is just a 20-minute chart, but again, this name, if you. It's hard to recommend anything in this space right now. Beyond Meat does have its issues. The Tyson, the Impossible Burgers, there's just. They do have first mover advantage, and I think that's probably why McDonald's, maybe hitting them up. They've done deals with them before. We knew KFC here in Canada. I think, no, it wasn't KFC. It was Tim Hortons and A&W here in Canada did test out the Beyond Beef. Beyond Sausage, I think it was, patty. I don't know. They did a bunch of different things. But this is going to be another tester here. So look at Beyond Meat on the daily chart. Just been absolutely destroyed here. We did bounce off 100 a couple times. This doesn't have the legs, I don't think, like an AMD does, but AMD bounced off of 100 and now is at 110. So I think Beyond Meat here, another opportunity to either cash out if you're long down here. I think 10% move in a couple days is nice. But otherwise, you know, if you like the name, I think Beyond Meat could go here and up to 120 or so. Again, these are apparently just a testing. It's a testing of the burger. So they've done this before, and I'm pretty sure they've made multiple deals with McDonald's in the past. I thought they had something called the PLT at one point, plant, lettuce, tomato, and I'm not making that up, but I don't know where that went, and I don't know if that's the same thing now, but we'll wait to see what's happening now. ARC, apparently.
I do want to shout out Feeling Bullish in the chat here, because pointing out, and this is why I love the community, right? Like, we put the headline out there when it came out, and then Feeling Bullish points out to us that on April 1st, 2019, QSR announced, made a similar announcement.
Right, there we go.
And that day the stock traded up, right? So, you know, probably going to have some follow through. That sort of leads me into looking at the 50 period at 114. And if one, you know, actually, let me make sure. Yeah, 114. So if it gets to like a 114 print on Beyond Meat today, I might actually be looking to sell it. And so anticipating that it could go to the upside. It's already, as Sean's already sort of said, like, if you catch this early on, fantastic. I never love the notion of, you know, buying on spike news at the high or near those highs. I mean, if it were to draw back far enough, sometimes buying the dip is okay, but it kind of feels like if you don't catch it right away, sometimes it's best to wait till the open.
All right, guys, if you remember going back a couple months ago, I think it was, they were talking about launching this product in Europe. There was a couple of countries in Europe that were going to get this. So this is the US, it looks like, that they're talking about. So they're going to test it in 8, I believe, US-based, 8 US restaurants. Next month. That's according to CNBC. So I'm pretty sure this is already a thing over in Europe. Let's get into, I'll give everyone a second, take your phones out, because here comes the watch list, guys. There it is. All you have to do is scan that QR code and it'll take you directly to our absolutely free morning watch list. We send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. So free for you. And now you don't even have to type anything. Just scan that code and it's right on your phone. Let's jump right into it. Big banks out with earnings today. A lot of them. BAC, MS, WFC, and Citigroup all reporting, positive right across the board. So if you guys want to look at 1 or 2 or 3, take your pick here. But it's interesting. We were sitting here last week talking about how excited we were to get back into earnings. Now we're back into earnings, and it seems like, you know, the more exciting trades may be elsewhere.
Well, it wasn't necessarily we're excited for earnings because we wanted to trade the first ones to come through, which was going to be the banks. That's not necessarily the case, but we're just excited to get earnings season. You get more data out of the market. You get to hear maybe some positive news out of the supply chain. Like, I'm thrilled by the news that the California ports are taking action. They're going 24/7, which they already do in Europe, and that's going to try to alleviate the things. I mean, the administration's all over trying to alleviate the supply constraints. And that's what you want to hear, and you want to hear companies start to talk about that. I was just looking at Morgan Stanley here because it's maybe testing that round 100 number, and I'll apologize in advance for the daily chart. But it just on that spike on earnings, you're going to see it just briefly touched. They beat across the board as expected. M&A is strong, and I don't know if it'll be as strong next year, but we'll certainly see. But it touched right out the 50 period and then sort of pulled back. So you kind of have to feel that if it cannot chew through that, I mean, it's below. I mean, I think JP's still holding above. If it can't actually chew through that breakout, you sort of see what happens on the 15-minute chart here below that 101, which is previous resistance, tries to wick high, rejects at that psychological level. Just below 100, you do have like a sort of floor here, a previous one at 99.50. If that can't hold up, I'm kind of hoping it doesn't have the same feed as JP Morgan, but I mean, if it breaks this 99.50, you're probably thinking it's going to put in a pullback. And again, it's like these banks, you take your hint from the first one that comes through, and like JP beat across the board, and that was a bit of a disappointment. We're up, and the market is stronger today, so I'd like to hope that level holds. But if that level were to break after the open, 99.50, it kind of gives you an obvious stop at 100, and then there's room at least to 98 down there. And I hate to be negative Nancy here on Morgan Stanley, which has been like, it's up like 30-something% on the year, so that's fine. But ultimately, I kind of feel like the market knows where we're at when it comes to the tapering schedule, and that puts interest rate hikes in the back end of next year at the absolute best, because the tapering wouldn't finish until June or July at this rate. Probably, I think July, is what it'll work out to. So, all this a positive win for some of the banks people have been talking about, it might actually come back in, and then the NASDAQ could be strong because of it, like the tech space in the short run. So we'll see what happens today after the open, because there's, like you said, there's just no volume on these, so I wouldn't want to get in too early on Morgan, but it bounced off that 50 period. As long as it doesn't break that, I think you're waiting for lower on Morgan Stanley in particular.
All right, so we're getting, I'm going to talk about BAC in a second. We're getting close just to take one piece out here of plug, so we won't hit it. I'll hit this because we just talked about Beyond Meat and I forgot to hit this. There we go, here comes the no meat. There we go, so no meat. I'm always wondering if there's going to be meat or no meat, but no meat, so there we go. Plug getting close to 34.40, so we are sitting there to take it out. We're just going to get it out at 40, which is VWAP. So I'm not even going to go at 39 here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it just went to 38. So if this doesn't print 40s right now, it should. So let's just move on from this and pretend it prints 40s, okay? So we don't have to get mad. Goes up to 38 and stops, now back to 33. That sucks. Okay, so here we go. We just put this up. Maybe I could put this link in our chat. I can't believe that just happened. Now Plug's power back down to 20. Okay, so here's the post.
Oh, that's
and a BAC right here, like as if Plug power. Look, now it's down to 14. Oh my God, we just missed that out there. Like,
something just dropped. Plug power to partner with. No, what are we talking about? It's a partnership deal.
Yeah, it might not be good. Like as if that just happened to me. That's crazy. We'll figure out what's going on with Plug Power right now. We're still gonna sit there, see if we could take that fill. Yeah, Plug Power partners with Fortescue Future Industries to manufacture electrolyzer technologies in Australia. We'll wait for Brendan on that one. Doesn't seem to have too much effect on the stock. I mean, it didn't drop that much, but that was crazy because I was 2 seconds away from getting that fill, or 2 cents, sorry, away. But okay, back to this. Let's just blow this up a little bit here. This is BAC, right? And 44.80. These are the last couple days. Each one of these whites is a day. So you go back here about 5 or 6 days. 44.80, 44.80, 44.80, 44.80. So 44.80. Can't say that enough, but there it is right there on BAC. I like that trade through, so let's go over to BAC right now. I mean, good numbers for them. They're probably one of the strongest banks. If you look at a daily chart right now, I mean, Morgan's hanging. I can't even look at a daily chart. Hold on a second. Let me get this daily chart here. Unfortunately, our bank charts are just so bad here because of all these wicks. Like, I don't know how to control that. But here's BAC. Just look. It's like basically all of 2021, it was like just move over, because basically all the way till about July, we went straight up from 23 to 45. So that was 43. So a big move up. Now all the banks sort of in the last 3 or 4 months have struggled a little bit. JP Morgan kind of leading the way. Morgan Stanley as well. We talked about that. WFC's had some legal issues. But right here, this 45 break, if it's going to do it, it could happen today. Again, the thing about this is I'm not going to take any break with big shares, because just like what happened to us yesterday with JP Morgan, they have their conference calls, and one little, not slip up, but there's so many metrics and everything that are involved in these banks that if they lose on something about loan provisions or something, and they just comment on something, that will affect obviously the future price and indications of that stock. So we're going to wait to see what does happen with BAC, but I definitely like that. That's a shame that Plug Power goes right here. You were watching me trade this as we were sitting there at 40 and it printed 38. So we'll see if Plug Power can get back going. But for now, BAC is the one that I'm going to be watching on the bank side, and maybe even pick up some JP Morgan, because yesterday they got beat down and they're back upside today.
All right. I'm not seeing really anything that would be overly negative as far as this deal is concerned. It's a 50-50 joint venture between two of these. So up here in this corner, you can see the joint venture equally funded on both sides. So, I mean, maybe there's a cost issue here on this joint venture, but I mean, it's seemingly positive. But anyways, we'll watch Plug Power here. Let's bring in Arun and get a look at the overall markets quickly here, Arun, as we head towards the open. Still holding some of these gains from early on.
Still holding. There's not a whole lot you can do. Like I mentioned the last couple of days here, we are stuck in a wide range, and we're getting to the top end of that range, which for me, around that 44.05, 44.10 area is going to start providing some resistance here. 44.25 is what I'm looking at for the top end level. If we can get above there, we may have a chance for expansion. I'm going to say 44.25 to 44.30. It's going to be a 5-point range for the level to clear. But if there's a short in front of that, I would be wide open to taking that short if we get a setup. But for now, you can't deny the fact that there is decent strength on the buy side. We're up, just under 1% on the S&P, and then NASDAQ is above 1%. So straight momentum to the upside going into the top end of the resistance, top end of the range. If we find enough for short, there might be a shot there. To the downside, not a whole lot you can work with. The bottom end support is sitting down at 43.95 or 42.95, so quite a ways away. So not a whole lot you can do with that level for now. Just look for the short, trust the momentum, or not trust the momentum, but leave the market. There is momentum to the buy side. You have to let that play out if you go for the short. I'm going to let that play out. If there is a setup that comes in later on as the rotation happens in, if there is a rotation that happens in around the top end of the range, then you go for the short. Otherwise, you just let it go. And then if the top end clears, then there's a potential trade to actually trade the expansionary break, which would be the long up above 44.30-ish. Finding out whatever the level is, whatever the support is, it all depends on how this market gets to that point. But for now, try to let the market go. It's going strong. If it can rotate at some point, maybe then we have a trade. Otherwise, not a whole lot you can do until some more levels develop closer to where we are right now, because there isn't a whole lot. This market's just gone straight up since we opened the afternoon or today's session with the European, with the Asian Open last night, 6 p.m. That's when the futures started trading again, right? So it's been straight up since then. So we're just going to have to wait and be patient after the Open.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's go to Walgreens Boots Alliance. Reported 68% surge in its fourth quarter profit. A lot of that coming from COVID-19 or increased demand because of COVID-19, people staying at home. Net income for the company, $627 million, 72 cents per share, up from $373 the prior quarter, guys, for WBA.
So I mean, you guys can see I'm already in Walgreens. Walgreens Boots Alliance. Walgreens. I'm just going to call them Walgreens. And essentially what happened, let's look at the daily chart first. Essentially what you look at here is it was testing up towards, like, again, the 50 period, kind of the same thing as Morgan Stanley. But I look at the range that it was sitting in here, and you got about like a 47.40, a higher low that it put in at 46, and then you had like a 47.40 on the top. It then started to get stabilization around this level, which is basically where we're sitting now. I already started the position long in front of this 48 here, and then I just look at this floor and say, okay, I want to be a buyer into it. Obviously, it's a pre-market, and it doesn't do a ton of shares, and I got to fill it. I was like, wait, wow. Sometimes you should call it up and look at the level too. And it's like, wow, it was so tight. Like, we talk about low volume all the time, but Walgreens on earnings only 100,000 shares, so I can't really add to this, at least even think about it till the open comes. And as long as it holds, this 47.20 area down here, and then I want to be long the stock and basically looking to get some out at the top, hold some through a potential break. I'd like to see it maybe break that 50 period, but let's keep a couple things in mind here, right? Like we talked about the positive news. I at least think with the California ports. You have the market actually reacting very well today so far. I mean, led by the NASDAQ, but if you're going to report decent earnings on a day like today and then be under the market in terms of pacing, that's not going to be a fantastic sign for the momentum in Walgreens. So, I mean, I don't actually own the stock in the long term, but if it's above 47.20 at the open, then I want to pick up some more shares. If it breaks that before, I'll just get out and then say it's entirely too weak and can't touch it. And for those of you looking at GRVI, it broke support, and 30 seconds later, there were shares available for us for locate. So now we can go short that name here, at least at Day Trade the World.
All right, finally, man, we'll do a little bit of a chicken winner dance here because that plug does come all the way back, and we'd be patient with it. And we got it. So there it comes right there. So out of all that bitching and complaining, Plug Power hits that deal, I guess, partnership. We didn't think it meant too much, so I'm glad that it didn't stop me out or anything like that on any of these wicks. Again, and this is what I'm talking about when you believe in it, and shout out to Jacqueline. We talked about this the other day as well, and thank you for that. And, if you believe in something, you don't just get out when it breaks little levels. You got to wait for the trade. So right there it comes right back up to 40, and we'll cash it out. So that's a 30-cent win right there, now ripping even higher. So whatever, that deal doesn't mean anything to me. We were looking at this earlier. It's one of the only names. I mean, it's the number one name here on the sticky note is Plug Power. Great momentum. 34 break brings it to 35. So, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to average in. If it kept going lower, we didn't have to do that. So we take out the 30 cents now and watch Plug Power go to the highs. So we'll watch that. WBA, always a boring stock for me. Again, it's flat, so we're not really doing too much on this. I mean, up, I guess, 0.89 right now, but that's 47 up to 47.28. Very boring stock. Won't be one that I trade, but again, a name that moves a little bit. So, doesn't move that much, so you could use a little more shares. So if you do like that name, watch out for WBA. For me, it's pretty hard to pass.
All right, there is, guys, an IPO today worth noting. Doubtful that we'll get it on this show, but maybe Memes and Movers at 11. GitLab coming to the market, $801 million for GTLB, so 77 bucks. 10.4 million shares sold at 77, which was a little bit higher than 66 to 69, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna have to tweet this one out. We're gonna watch out for that one. Neil, you said Joe Montana, maybe? Apparently
Joe Montana. Like I'm 99% sure that Joe Montana is invested or involved with that company. So if you guys don't, if you follow football, you probably know who that is. We'll look to trade it. It's like 700 million they're raising.
Never heard of them.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, it hasn't been the best, the IPO market, but when you talk about like a coding solution company, which has clients like Goldman Sachs and oh my goodness, NVIDIA is a client of theirs as well. Yeah, so this is a pretty decent business. They already have decent revenues, but I'm looking at GRVI. Sorry guys, there's no chart for the IPO, but that's one that I'm not saying I'll take it automatically off the open like some of the other trades we do, but certainly is going to be worth a look for the trade, and I want to find a long in that at some point today if it presents itself. Of course, we never know when they're going to open because these days, like if you open by 11 o'clock, it's a huge win in these markets with an IPO.
Yeah, look at Plug Power, just ripped up right now to 35. So that was the level that we were talking about, the pre-market high. So right now, Plug Power continues to get rocking and rolling here. To me, there's only one trade ever on an IPO, and that is you take the opening print, and then you wait to see what happens from there, wait to see where size comes through. I'm going to be staying away from this one.
All right, shout out to CNBC. Here we go. Yeah, Joe Montana is involved in this, and he stands to, guys, make about a 420-fold return on his investment in GitLab. It's coming to market at a valuation of about 10 billion. Thanks to CNBC there for that one. Let's move on. Domino's, DPZ, another one that reported in the pre-market this morning. Decent numbers overall, but it was a miss for Domino's, so we are pretty negative here.
Yeah, it's actually down 4%. So, what? Oh, sorry. Domino's another name. It's not really doing a heck of a lot of pre-market volume, but that doesn't look very good on the chart. There's only one thing that I'll be well, I shouldn't say there's only one thing. There's probably only two things I'll be interested in for Domino's, and that's if it gets to this 435 level, which I just flat out don't see that happening. That's $20 down from here. It did get rather close on a wick down to the downside, but 435, that's at 200 period, which I think start to be like things, like stocks that you like or companies you think are okay can be value. But Domino's is now down $100 from the top. If it extends to that 435, the 200 period, fair enough. What I think you can look for here is if it catches a bit of a bid and then work back towards what was previous support at a 470, you might be looking at something along those lines for like a short in front of it on any kind of a pop. But that 435 would be that line in the sand, I think, for a stock like Domino's, and that's what I'd be much more interested in. As far as the day trade goes, like, there were levels on Walgreens that gave us a little bit of an advantage to be able to play it. On Domino's, they're too far away to be able to take a shot at it, but I like Domino's turnaround. It's just that they're absolutely getting beaten up, these last couple of months, and it has yet to really find support that it can dig into. It is worth noting that that 435. One of the other reasons I like it is if you go back, sort of to about May. This was a strong consolidation with that 435 being the top end of that range and then the bottom here at 415. So this was a cluster before it had its breakout to its 550 highs. And I would think if it gets down there, you're going to get some support on Domino's. So anyone that owns this stock, you have room to support if you've been sitting in it all the way on this pullback. And I wouldn't pull the trigger until it bounces off that 435.
A few other ones of note as well. Taiwan Semiconductor, one of those, 13.8% jump in their Q3 profit. Tons of demand, obviously Apple supplier, so there's that angle as well. They even increased their full year forecast for TSM. Neil, you were interested in NVIDIA today, but another one from the chip space.
Yeah, and I sort of briefly mentioned, you can go like Qualcomm. I think it's pretty interesting here as well. For me, it just comes down to, you'll always see me like go to the charts here, and that's the reason I like NVIDIA today. It just has everything to do with it's going to be this 213.30 break. The fact that TSM came out, I care more about the Apple news and the companies that showed some signs of strength into that I guess headwind for at least a few names, their suppliers, which isn't always a good thing if you're an Apple supplier. There's a downside that comes with it, like over-reliance, the fact that Apple is going to squeeze your margins, like all. It's not all roses just because you have a great company and you're supplying them. But, this 213.30 really, really sticks out. I mean, you go bang right here. You have resistance right there. Now, we weren't able to get the breakout when we bought 210s here last week. And if it dips down, I am buying in front of 210 again, like I said. But it's the breakout that I think is on tap. The market's at these tops. If it can hold, if we can hold up this tight cluster, that's the other thing. It's a very, very tight pre-market range, which is lending itself towards that breakout as well. So that's why I like NVIDIA. It's just all about the setup here for me. And that's a setup. Like if I like a setup, I'm going to take it every single time. Pretty much. You're going to lose on some of them, fair enough, but that's the cost of doing business. If I see it and it works time and time again, or 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, then I'm going to go ahead and take that chance. And if a level is good once, I always want to make sure I'm revisiting it when a trade sets up. And that's exactly the case here, because I've only traded NVIDIA one time in the last 2 weeks, and it was off of these same two levels, and it worked out. So it might have been the trade of the day that day, actually, now that I think about it. But either way, let's see if it can't be today.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. It's obviously a stock that can get going if it does want to. We've mentioned it a few times already, but let's officially, guys, talk about Plug Power here. It's Renault who is teaming up with Plug to, they unveiled yesterday this hydrogen-powered vehicle. They also announced a deal. This is through their subsidiary, which is HYVIA. So it's not totally on Plug Power, but it's a subsidiary that teamed up with Renault. There's obviously the Airbus deal from yesterday as well. So lots of positivity still here.
Yeah, I mean, it's been said to death already. You guys saw the news come out. You saw the Sean's trade. You saw the push down on the news, which made no sense. And then it goes right up to that 35. So the last thing to add is, there was another thing about the 35 level, not just that cluster. It's also you have the 200 period, which we talked about putting it on when you get these moves, like more outsized moves either up or down. You start to think about them. You saw it on Domino's there, like maybe it'll bounce off it as well. Facebook bounced off that one. It's when it had its bad news. And then Plug, this breakout that's been happening the last couple of days that we've been trading goes right into that 35 level. So, I'm not fading 35 because, as I mentioned, it's broken through that level before. But as Plug comes back in on the dip, might come into play here. I wanted something a little bit closer to this 33.5 range where you can play it into the support at 33. That gives me an in and an out. So if it comes back to that price level, I like it. 35 could be a pop and fade kind of thing here. Like that whole 930, play into the offer and roll over. Now the 200 period is actually above at 35.25. That's why I was saying you have to give it some room above that price. But not too much. I mean, it could break 35. If it goes past the quarters, I'd say the breakout is continuing. But underneath the quarters, it still could be a bit of a short at that point.
Yeah, so basically the Plug Power trade got squashed already, right? So we took this trade. I mean, I hate that news that came out. Has nothing to do with this trade at all. I wish I wasn't in it. I should have got out. I said it was going to go. I mean, right here, like you got to be a little more disciplined, Sean, than this, because I said right on the sticky note today, right, which we can show you again, that we would get this out 35, right there. So. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It went up to 35 there. This trade is not, had nothing to do. That story came out while we were in this trade, so had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that we'll have to wait now for 35. I mean, I waited already, so we'll wait to see if it breaks through 35. I don't even mind the break if it goes through 35, but again, if we're going to identify 35 as a key level, we should have got it out and then played the break upside. So that's the one thing that I'm most disappointed about it. But I'm only in this name for the momentum that it's shown over the last couple of days, right? Bang, bang, bang. This is what we talked about. We're right here on the 200 period. So, I mean, there's lots of action here on the 20-minute as well. I mean, look at this, straight to the upside. So there's lots of action on Plug Power. We'll remain long this name, and we'll be averaging back into some of those levels that Neil said down there, like we talked about before, $33. This was my out, so we'll wait to see if that can hit. But for right now, it's in the money, 2 cents, which is nice. But we already took 40 cents there. So no matter what happens here, we can take this all the way back into these levels, which we're going to sit at, in the 60s and 70s on Plug and see if we can get along. But this, honestly, this deal news wrecked this trade, in my opinion, but let's just see if we get lucky and the momentum goes to the upside. I almost think this is a sell, but I like the momentum here. I just wish that they didn't do this little partnership thing because, again, it just changes the dynamics. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but makes me a little more nervous about this trade, Brendo.
All right, UPS guys, 2.5% here in the pre-market. I mean, it's not doing much, but a decent gap up here on more volume than it usually does in the pre-market. Here's why, or one of the reasons: Stifel upgrading UPS today to a buy ahead of their Q3 results that are coming, I believe, next week. I'll double check on that, but UPS worth a note. Neil, you mentioned these Chinese fintech companies. There's a new regulation coming into effect on November 1st over in China that's going to affect FUTU and also that TIGR today.
So I'll do this because, well, I could do that for Cassava Sciences. We'll find out why that just dropped $4, although I'm not sure it ever needs a reason to drop $4, to be honest with you. But that FUTU, still Cassava Sciences. That FUTU, I was already in this one to the short side. It hit my stop. Look, it's been a few days, it's been a few weeks, I suppose, since we've had a negative print or a negative headline when it comes out of China. But this stock has been already under pressure. And the reason why I only want to go short it is it's a pure momentum thing, right? Like, when you get a 5,200 cross that has that kind of a turn in momentum here, and then you break support hard, at 81, I'm going to want to short the pop, which is what I did. Once it broke through this consolidation, I just got out, and then I sort of wrote down for myself, 81 is a hard top. I mean, if this thing wants to turn back above this 81 support, I would be absolutely shocked. I can't remember the last time that on a negative print when it comes to a negative headline when it comes to regulation in China that one of these names made that strong of a move. They've made recoveries before, but not that strong. So, I'd short this one again if it got to like 80 to 81, but I'm waiting until it gets to that level. There's no way I want to jump in front of it. We did get locates into GRVI, as I mentioned, and it just popped right into like a kind of a weird head and shoulders level, about 815 to 820, and I grabbed some shares at 812. And then NRXP, which in the chat we talked about that 1250 level breaking. I shorted when that broke. Lewis also liked that level as well. I got 44s to the short side, as you guys can see.
I don't know. Futu, nah. I mean, I know Neil's already. You mentioned getting stopped out. You talked about some good levels, so I'm gonna pass on all that. I mean, the only level that I have again, and we'll just go back to my sticky note because the Chinese name that I want to watch here today is going to be NIO. Looking to break through this 3670, man. I really think that this name has been overdone to the downside a little bit here. Nice bump up yesterday to these highs, and look, we have a multi-day break situation one more time on NIO. So I mean, forget about all these other names. For me, stick with the best ones. Stick with BABA. Stick with NIO. Try to make some money on these names, and we'll just try to do that here today. So if NIO can break this 36, what did I write down on the sticky note here? 3670. So it's this level right here on the 20 minutes. So if we can break somewhere around there, I don't want to write down any text. Then that would be a good long for me. So we're waiting for that. Oh, one thing we haven't done yet, strangely enough, oddly enough, is check out the imbalance locator. So another Chinese name, EDU here. There's Palantir. I mean, we wrote this one. Hell yeah, man. Diamond hands on Palantir. This was another one that we bought. So we bought 4 names in the dip. Nike, Palantir, of course, Palantir. Nike, Palantir, Nucor, and PayPal. So that's what we've been buying in this dip. So trying to spread it out a little bit. Palantir with a nice little move. We get back down to 24 and change, then we'll hit that even longer. I'm a little nervous about the NASDAQ coming through, but I like Palantir here. And then Microsoft just doing nothing right now. But like we're long at 79, so we're basically flat. Just here on the 20-minute. It's this level here, like 298. If we can come back into 298, we'll take more long. I'm not. This is not a big position right now, so we're trying to average in. But I do like Microsoft back to around this 298 level, and then we'll take some shares into there, and then see what happens from that point. So as long as the NASDAQ is up here, this is the name that I believe in the most. So I'm going to stick with Microsoft.
Just looking for anything on Cassava Sciences, guys. The only thing I saw was there was a couple of whispers on Twitter about an FDA investigation. I do not see anything confirming that, so trade accordingly. This market tends to move without any kind of confirmation. See offer pad if you need an example of that any further. But yeah, Sava coming off. Not a lot of volume on SAVA. Affirm here as well, guys, set for possibly record highs today for Affirm. It's been on quite the run over the past couple of weeks. Bank of America talking positively today about Affirm.
Okay, well, I guess record highs don't count if it's in the pre-market because it's essentially right here. It was a successful trade on the 150 failure in yesterday's action, at least for myself. I know Trader Prad was trading into it. I let it break that 150 level before I took a trade, and when it broke 150, it immediately rejected it. And it was a great short back into 145. So file that price away. 145 with support like several times in yesterday's action. If we turn around, I kind of think it might get a bit of a bounce there. This is, at this point, it's a complete jailbreak on a firm. And, you know, I basically stopped fighting it earlier in the week, and then, you know, yesterday only waited for that one level at 150. And I don't think I want to be shorting this name unless it gets back below that 150 level. It would have to reject this breakout for me to even think about it here. It gets another positive note. You know, I'm a believer in the buy now, pay later craze in terms of it being a phenomenon, in terms of it being good for society as a whole. I don't even know if that's the right thing to say, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a vast and growing business. You know, they got the Target deal, they got the Amazon deal, and there's probably going to be more to come along those lines. And this is, you know, it's kind of something it's in its infancy with lots of room for growth. So that apparently the market thinks so as well. I don't know that I want to be buying it at like what the market's doing right now off this 15,000, as Sean was mentioning, or sort of below this 15,000 level in the NASDAQ. You know, buying the top here feels a little bit scary on a firm. That's why I want to sit out, you know, anything like a 150. If you got this break, if it was sitting 149, a 149.5, and you're breaking 150 on momentum at the open, fair enough. But you're sort of gliding above it. And after seeing plug pull back and some of the violence here, you know, I'm staying away from this. I would only short below 150. As for longs, if it gets to 145, I'd probably do a tester down there.
And Sava's being investigated by the NIH, so
wow.
That's why.
Okay.
A firm down here to 132. We had this a couple days ago, ripped it all the way to the upside there, 138. That was a $6-7 winner. We didn't trade it yesterday, but it's infinitely too high right now. So I mean, I like a firm. I just think you need to buy it on any dips. It's too much now. Just like UPST, I think Upstart again. Shout out to Jacqueline. She's been talking about this one for a while. You know, any kind of dips, I think you need to buy Upstart. But you know, that's what I'm saying. The first week in October, we had our opportunities to buy these names, man, and we just missed them. I mean, we didn't miss them all, but we missed this one for sure. And then someone said something about Snowflake. Look, I called this one baby Palantir. Maybe it's adult Palantir because Snowflake here, you know, we were able to get some in the low 200s if this daily chart ever loads up. But we really missed it. I think it was 180 where we started to barcode. Yeah, down here, this area right here. So I got long off this break here, 240-ish. So it's a beautiful run up for Snowflake. I mean, Snowflake just continues to make monster moves. Again, another recent IPO that's come out that is actually doing better than when it came out. So I think if Snowflake came out, yeah, I guess it was 250. That was a crazy, crazy day. So Snowflake much, much better, but it had this dip down into 180, which should have been bought. But then we finally got in this area, 240, 245 or so on Snowflake. But Snowflake looking to take out tops as well. So we like the data and we like all these names. So Palantir and Snowflake, definitely big ones. But I mean, way much more invested into Palantir than Snowflake.
Way much more invested, always. Many more always. NRXP, guys, one from the bottom end of the list here into a big area on the daily chart, 12 up to about 14. So again, one of those ones with a very, very wide range here in the pre-market. So just watching 12, which is this level, and then 14, which is the pre-market high. This has been bought before at 12. So we're getting down to about that area right now for NRXP, guys.
Yeah, that's actually one. I'm looking to get more on a bit of a pop. It was just a break of a 1250, and I hate breakdowns a little bit more. And I missed it. Was able to get it on the way back in when my offer was sitting there. Got a partial fill, but I'm only going to add to it now because when it's this late, I only add to positions. Ideally at that 930 pop range, and I'm looking to see if this one's going to do that same move. That GRVI, with only 2 minutes to go here, GRVI found support here at VWAP, so 812, I took some out here for 30 cents, and then there's a 760 level here that I'll consider covering in front of 760 because if this pops at the open, I do think it's more than likely that it's retesting the highs on GRVI. So that's another one. Should be a big mover today. That NVIDIA, just an unbelievably tight range. It's kind of crazy to see what it's been doing. For those of you that are looking at that offer pad, we'll go. The only thing I will say about this is if you're still in this after the typo, because Brendan was talking about this, the typo on the price upgrade. 45 instead of 12. It was consolidating and now starting to give it up again. If it goes all the way back, it's a bit shocking to me because it's still a price upgrade by somebody that I've never heard of. But this, I don't know. I can't see much of a reason to get into the stock. And if this pops, I'm definitely looking to fade this one at anywhere from 10 to 10.40. It would surprise me if it got up there. But hey, stranger things have certainly happened.
AMD, man, yeah, we've been walking on water with this one for a while. Congratulations, anybody that's been long with us in the 50s and in the 70s and now up to 110. I mean, it's not as crazy mover as some of these other names where you can get 50% in one day, but as far as managing money and, just putting something away and trading the best of the best there, AMD and NVIDIA continue to rock and roll with really more of my money. I've actually got out of some NVIDIA. Most of my money in this space is in AMD, so it's been, oh crap, the daily chart's no good. It's been a nice little runner. There's the 100 that we talked about, like Beyond Meat there, but this was a little bit better. We actually based down here at that. So we only have 20 seconds left, so we will be watching AMD here, but let's get ready to hit that number through. We have NEO as well. I think could be a good one through the top here, guys, so get ready to rock and roll with NEO breaking 36.70.
Yeah, we forgot to mention Boeing. We'll get to that as the market's about to open. Miss V is on the bell with 5, 4. You're on camera 3, 2, and 1.
And we are open and ready to rock and roll right now. So let's get ready to go here. NVIDIA, so we just talked about NEO. It looks like it's coming to the downside. It's actually not even open yet. So we got to wait for that to pop through. NEO waiting to get opened up here. Nothing else really happening. Microsoft is coming back down a little bit. This is where we want to get longer into it. So we'll wait to see if it breaks through 298 here. Watch out for the NASDAQ. No idea what's happening, but I do like Microsoft. Might pick up another piece right now.
Yeah, I'm just going to get to Boeing very, very quickly here because it did rebound from that bad news. They have some issues with production of one of their jets. Watch out for this level here. It's going to be 222.5. It gets up there, and I think it's going to be a fade. I just got NVIDIA on the breakout, so we're long in NVIDIA on the break with the market coming back in, so we have to watch this one closely.
Yep, exactly. And same as Microsoft here, starting to fade back down. This is where okay, so now we have a decent position on for Softy. So we'll wait to see where it goes right now. But I like this Softy trade, guys. Right now, long 298. 298 is the bottom, so we're going to watch out for some of these plays, guys.
Yeah, and so here's that NVIDIA. Immediately takes out that top and slams right back in. Now, the dip I like at 210.50 is a separate trade. This one has to hold these pre-market lows. I think I can add one time here in the 212.50 range if it wants to hold that. But I need to see this shake out and test itself a little bit here. Plug Power is just chewing to the downside. So you're seeing the momentum. Just the reversal off that 50 period is ridiculous. Here's afternoon support. So it's in that 33.50 range. Afternoon support down to 33. This is the target area where if it's going to bounce, I think the initial bounce would be here. So I'm going to pick up some shares. Said we buy the dip and taking that first shot. This is the afternoon support range, 33 to 33.50. Because it's inside here, I'll probably cover some in front of the 33.50 and then see if this doesn't get a bit of not a dead cat bounce because, obviously this has been a breakout.
Yeah, exactly. So Microsoft's coming to the downside right now, but we're waiting to average into this. I still think, that was a big move down on the NASDAQ right here. Not a big one, but I think a little bit unexpected. So we'll see if it can bounce from here. Again, no idea if that's what does wind up happening, but hopefully for our sake it does. So we'll wait to see what Microsoft wants to do here. We are long, and we're not in that much trouble. 299 is our spot, so I like 299. So we'll wait to see if that comes through now with Softy. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're trying to bid into this. If it comes down to this 296, that's going to be an area of concern. We're just going to have to watch the NASDAQ. We're not going to die on any swords here, so we're being very, very careful. Plug Power is right down to that 33 again. So I told you, that news was crap, man. I hated that partnership. It's sort of, whoops, there it goes. So it just drops down. So I'm out of that one. And we should have gotten out of that way. I was talking about Plug Power there and that we didn't like what it was talking about on that partnership. And I just should have canceled these and just let it go, but whatever. Plug Power will be a negative stock for us today, and we'll ho-hum that one and try to do better for you tomorrow, or later. Tomorrow.
So I'll get to two things. NVIDIA trying to hold that 212.50 level. So in the pullback, that's looking like it could be worthy of a reload, but it's starting to accelerate to the downside. Affirm spikes up and then immediately rejects, making that fresh high, and it's coming very, very close to that 150 level. So it is setting up for that short opportunity. That NRXP So this one is absolutely flushing now. I was sitting on the bid, sitting on the bid here at 1140. It touched down to 1150. If this catches a bounce here, I would no longer want to add shares at 1250. That would be a little bit too extreme. If that happens, it's probably not a very good sign. And then the other one is that GRVI, which that's the one I said I did not want to add back into, because if it holds 780, likely to retest the high of the day. So I'm looking for this test of 870. If it rolls over there, then I would add to the short position. That's the only circumstance under which I would do that. Don't want to fight things too hard, but I do feel like GRVI, if a rollover happens about 50 to 60, I'm going to add to my position. And then, of course, looking for that affirm, as it just bounced off 150, so maybe not yet. It seems like it is rejecting. That's a big time wick to the upside. I want to make sure I get this 150 break, and I would add in front of 152, even if it popped.
So where's Neo right now? So we did get some Palantir out there quickly for like 6 cents or whatever, but we're waiting to hold out for this one again. If this is the day that the NASDAQ goes red, I mean, that's going to be a surprise to me. I still think the NASDAQ should be pretty strong, and the market in general. So the S&P still up 0.9. The NASDAQ's the one that's getting hit. Whoops, it's still up 0.9, but it's getting hit. The S&P's not really moving. So hopefully our big stock, Microsoft, which is the one that we're really invested in here, can continue to be, hold on a little bit here to some of these levels. So we should have got longer there in the 70s. So we do have a bid back down here at 297. But like Plug Power, I didn't want to just keep on buying all the way down. So that Plug Power, man, damn it, that's too bad, because that was a good trade until it wasn't. So we'll wait for this 299.50. We're long at 299.13, so a good average in here on Microsoft. But again, look at the NASDAQ; it doesn't want to go here. So we may take a piece out and then see what happens. But here comes right back to the upside. Let's go Microsoft. So we held it so far. Diamond hands on this trade, but diamond hands aren't necessarily a good thing, man. We got to read the charts and make sure that we get out. So 299.50 is going to be my first spot to get out of this one as it's turning into the money. And there goes Palantir as well. Let's go, guys.
Oh, that's not fair, GRVI. It does the test of the high today, breaks 870, immediately rejected. I was sitting there trying to get 850s, trying to get 840s, and you're going to see it's falling like an absolute rock. So no chance for me to add there. Well, there was a chance. I just wasn't fast enough, I don't think. If that's a wick high, then I want to think about only going short off of any pop here in that GRVI, sticking to that plan. We're still holding out right around 212 on NVIDIA, but it's getting close to breakdown, and then we're going to be out of that trade as well, so we'll stop out in NVIDIA. Looks like that break isn't going to maintain. 210.50. The day it tested this level before, it was the dip buy that I actually put on, not the breakout, and the dip buy worked. So if it goes another $1, you will see me come back into that trade. NRXP, which I mentioned I was sitting on I canceled my bid here because it just seems like it's falling like a rock. I mean, if it pops, now I would short it off that 12 level, but this one I might just be holding on to for the rest of the day. And we're going to go to Brendan. We'll come right back because Plug now 32.50.
Big mover past couple of days, guys. This ALLO just popping up through that high from yesterday on a huge volume spike through 17 for Allo again.
Palantir, good moves up again, right to 35 there. So we took out another dime on that. We'll still see if it can go. Hopefully Microsoft gets going. We did not get any out. It did go. Thank you, Miss V. Hopefully I'll drink this today. I think I'll try it right now. I have a little bit of a headache today.
It'll be too hot.
No, not too hot is good. Okay, so right now we did have an opportunity to get out of Softy there for a winner. It went all the way to 299.25. I mean, we're long at 299.13. That would have been 10 cents. So yeah, we're not going to write home anything about that one. So we'll wait to see if it keeps coming up. And the same thing happened to you on NVIDIA. So we may, if this doesn't keep going, the market really right now giving that up. So not a good move here for the market for us today. And if you're short, it's a fantastic one. But there we go, taking out this 14,900. I talked about that. Not good right now. So we're not going to be digging into anything. Let's just wait to see where the dust settles on this and try to pick out some shorts here somewhere, guys.
Yeah, and one of them is going to try to be a firm. It just broke that 153 right back below 152. So again, another failure at the high. That still puts two things in play. Still, if it breaks 150, I want the short. But now that it's tested twice above here, I don't mind taking a starter position in this 151 to 152 range. So you let things settle out a little bit. There is no, oh my goodness, I did not expect this to come in. I apologize if we didn't talk about DATS because I thought this was completely dead. But there was a level from yesterday at 3 o'clock. And we talked about this 970. I'll quickly show you 970 to you guys on the 15-minute chart. Here's 970 support on the 8th. Here is 970 resistance back on the 5th. And here is 970 coming in. I just bought 83s in front of it. I'll have a stop 5 cents below or something like that. So Brendan, I didn't think that's what's up was going to be a thing again today, but it is.
Here's another one. KORE just halting, guys, to the upside. This is one that was pretty positive on no news that I could see anyways in the pre-market was just going to double check. It's not core mining, it's core group holdings, another kind of low float type of stock, KORE, guys.
Let's check out, so Nucor right now starting to run as well, I believe. I thought, yeah, 101. Wow. Okay, so this is a good one, man. We're spending the money on this long-term investment with Nucor. We're long at 95.50. We tweeted that out when we bought that one. That one's upside. It's popped up on the scanner. I don't know why. It's not doing anything. I don't know why that popped up. Okay, so we'll switch off it. Sorry, guys. I thought that was doing more action there. Popped up. We showed you the e-signal scanner yesterday. That's what we use. And shout out to our friends at Trade Ideas as well with a good scanner. Michael Noss, one of our guests. I believe it's every other Friday. Yeah, I don't think he was here last Friday. So okay, let's go charts. They're running something on my computer right now, so hopefully we can test out some of the issues that we've been having. AMD does that dip down. That might have been a good one to buy as well. I know you were on NVIDIA, but AMD right there, nice move to the downside. You could have picked it up at 109.80. We'll see about taking out this top at 111 now, AMD.
Yeah, so I just got into a firm below that 152 level. So, you had the retest of the high, you had the second rejection. Look, there's still a chance that it can't break 150, right? So I'm going to put a bid down here and take some out in front of that 150 level. If it breaks 150, I want to be adding to the position to the short side. And if it holds above, there's no way I want this taking out the high again. If it can manage to take out the high another time, that's just a little bit too ridiculous. And I'll give up on this, attempting to short it, which I sat out for several days here. Like I said, I got that DAX to the long side in front of that 970, and Canadians apologize too much, but I will apologize for this one because we ended the show yesterday sort of talking about like the dip buy prices on DATS and mentioned that 970, but if you weren't watching, we didn't get to it today, unfortunately, because there were bigger fish to fry, at least I thought so. It is a buy in front of it. It just went right back into the previous pre-market low at 1010. And that's also VWAP, so I'm going to definitely cover some in front of there. It puts in a lower high, and I'm grabbing the long again.
Okay.
I wanted this thing at some point to give you like a couple of halt downs and then a dead cat bounce in that regard, but if it's just going to brush off that level on the 15-minute at 970 and hold it, then this stock might have its second light that I think a lot of people have been waiting for.
So hit this for a new position. We're into PayPal right now. Just seeing what it wants to do. It takes out 262 there. I actually didn't realize, I was looking at a different chart. I thought the high was 262, but it looks like it's 262.50 or so right here. This is a 1 minute chart. So it did hit some of these highs. So I might be in this one a little bit too early, but whatever. We'll wait for PayPal right now. I like it. Again, the NASDAQ's going to rally like this, then hell yeah on PayPal. So PayPal has been coming down to the downside, not just because I'm trading my own book here, but I like this name. I like the fintech space. We talked about that. You know how much I love our friend PaySafe. Yeah, right. But okay, so another name that we do love, and we've been well documented with our love for Palantir. We'll rain down some money right now today because there goes Palantir, bless you. Palantir to the upside right now, 20 cents in the money on this trade. So Palantir, nice one. We've been scalping it out. We still have 60%, so we'll wait to 40%. So we'll wait to see where it goes now as we just got filled at 40. No offers on the upside right now. We'll see if it continues to go. Hopefully for us, our sake, that it does. PayPal, still at 55 cents in the money. Okay, PayPal, I see you starting to go right now. Where's my 20-minute? Okay, so now that we're starting to go, what does this look like? 264, 263.50. Let's put an offer at 263.50, take out a little bit. If we can get the $1.50 on PayPal, we'll do that. So let's go 263.50. Right now it's only in the money 40 cents, but has a chance to go here, especially if the NASDAQ thinks about moving to the upside. We like it, so let's take this high out. We're still holding on to Microsoft. I said hold the best names, man, if you can. So believe in your trade. We talk about that over and over again. So let's wait to see on Microsoft. Sometimes you lose when you're holding on, but so far so good. So 263.50 on this one, and Microsoft trying to get back to the green side.
So this core that Brendan just brought to our attention, it just opened back up and is testing pre-market highs here. We didn't have the locates on it, so I just quickly I'm going to see how much it's going to cost me. It looks like, yeah, a couple of cents a share. I'll go ahead and bank those. So this is a test of that 940 high. Again, the daily chart's not going to really show you too much, so we're going to stick with the 1 minute here. And it's all about the halt levels for me. You might get a bounce off the 850 previous halts as I lock in those locates. And then if it holds below the previous pre-market high, which is trying to do at 930, it can then turn into basically a short off of that 950 level. So sometimes on a stock it's already shown you it wants to sell off, I'll make a play where I'm just going in front of the high when it rejects that breakout. So right now it's rejected the breakout, so I can go short in the 20 range or maybe even the 10s if that's all that I can get, and then see if I can't give it towards that 950 high with 850. being your, I guess, your target price area. If it holds that 850 all day long, or at least all morning long, then you might start thinking about a breakout in the afternoon. But let's take a quick shot at this KORE that Brendan brought to our attention. Yeah, it's selling off too hard. I should have chased it down to 9 even. I was sitting at 920. I don't want to chase it any further than this for that short. Based on the risk reward I just gave you, it wouldn't actually make sense to short that at below 880.
Let's go, Mr. Softy, right now. Cowbells, wake up, America, because here goes Mr. Softy right to the upside. There goes PayPal to the upside. There goes Palantir. 75 cents now in the money here on Softy. Oh, it just touched out us. So that was a good out right there at 50, man. That's why you sit and you park some orders there. So right now, siren alert. Trade's moving for us. Well done here for the hold if you were able to do that with me, as Microsoft's starting to go back to the upside here. So good trade on that hold. And then Palantir still trying to make new highs near 50. That'd be great. And PayPal rocking and rolling. So we're cooking with gas on most of these names right now, and that's what we like to hear. So far, so good. What happened to you?
No, it's like right back into, so NVIDIA retesting that breakout, which, look, if I like it once, I'm going to like it again. And so the market comes right back, testing those highs, and we'll take another shot. I never got the dip. It never even touched that 210.50 area. So more shallow of a dip than last time that it rejected this level. So we'll take a shot at it to long side again. Watch out for your GRVI if you're trading this stock. Affirm is holding that 158, 153 at least for now. GRVI made another pop here, and this is where, okay, I missed it the first time off the high of the day. I don't want to miss it this time, so I'm going to grab the short on this consolidation, or add to my short on this consolidation as we send you over to Brendan again.
A couple of things, guys. BlackBerry, first off, 2 days in a row here for BlackBerry. Remember yesterday we mentioned this strong move at the open on some news. Here we go again. Just took a 10 and 10-10 there on a volume spike for BlackBerry. Also, that core I double-checked was about a 90 million share float, guys, for KORE.
Out of size.
Yeah, 90 million. Okay.
Compared to some of the other things that we've been looking at the last couple of weeks, that's decent.
That's decent. Okay, PayPal's still rocking here. We don't have any outs. We're waiting for 263. It actually went to 262.70 there on that little bump upside. But the name that is working for us right now, and I mean, it just continues. We did get that nice Microsoft tick there, so that was a good play. Did anyone get AMD there? Because I missed it. Was too busy looking at Softy, but there goes AMD right back to the highs. We talked about that when it was down here about 110.40 or so. It's back up to 111.40. So wow, $1 straight up there for that name. So we really, really like what we're seeing here from PayPal and AMD. You know, everything you just mentioned, NVIDIA going right back to those highs. So lots popping off here. Let's just hope we can keep the momentum to the upside right now, as this market can fade out real easy.
Yeah.
Beyond meat 108.
Speaking of fades, nothing to do with the market is dat chat. So it rejected again this 10-10 level and VWAP. So I'll give it one more shot to maybe bounce off that 970 level that we like before thinking about that, reload or just having to take this trade off. I did get more of that GRVI, going to give it to the lower high 865. Like I said, Affirm, not going to let it test that high, but patience. I finally show at least a little bit of patience in Affirm, so I'm kind of happy with myself for that. It tests the high again. I said I'm not going to let it break the high. It does not. I only add it right in front of it at 152.75. If it comes back down, I was only bidding in front of 150, but I'll step some of these shares up into the 151 range just to make sure, with the market retesting highs here, you want to make sure that stock, which has been ridiculously strong. The second I put the bid out, you kidding me? So if I'm trying to bounce it here off 150, 150, again, I want to make sure I'm taking some profit both in front of 150 and now in front of 151, given the nature of the turnaround the market just put on.
Let's go, man. I mean, we're watching AMD here. Microsoft now $1 in the money, so cash out a little bit here, maybe on the upside. I haven't done it yet, but if you're along with me, here it goes, $1. Let's go, Microsoft. Yes, sir, man. It's like one good trade. Look, the sticky note remains supreme, man. We have Microsoft longs on here. We have Palantir longs on here. We have Plug Power longs on here. But we have a few good ones. Here goes Microsoft, $1.20 now with the money. PayPal, 75 cents in the money. We're just running these stocks right now today. It's been a good one so far. If you've held on to any of your longs, man, this might be, look at Softy. This might be a good opportunity. Let's take it out at 90 if we can get it right here. Right before 300. We wanted the 300 break. You're right back to this upside. So here he comes. We're at 90 right now. So if we get filled out, that'd be nice. Come on, let's go. Maybe we're getting too greedy here. We're already in the money nicely. Let's just cancel that and put an offer right now. See if we can get out now in the 80s. I don't know. We just let that run all the way up there. But Microsoft, good trade. I think it takes it out. We'll get out in the mid 80s here if we can. We're at 82. Oh, just missed it there. There it goes. Rips right through us. So let's go, Microsoft. Now we're in the money at $1.31. So siren alert on Softy, man. We'll take out 300 soon, and then we'll see where we go from here. But nice rebound in the market. We called this. I said yesterday, I mean, it might have been the bottom there in the first week in October, like we mentioned. So right now, Softy, another out, man. We're getting close to getting out of everything. We have about, well, we do have exactly 40% left on that trade. 50 cents in the money goes PayPal. We may just take this out right here. It doesn't look like it wants to go. A nice little high move made in the NASDAQ. Let's take out some PayPal right here.
Yeah, and I'll do this for NVIDIA. It's not NVIDIA. NVIDIA's trying to test that 21 to 213.50 again. Affirm is what I'm talking about. We got that fill that we were just talking about a second ago. If it retests the high, I think it can be worth a reload. But I want to show you guys the NASDAQ because we're getting very close to that 15,000 mark. I think if we get there, like you get to 15,000 and you're not, getting the breakout that you're looking for, you can take some profit off and we consolidate and look like we might reject. That's going to be a good point to take out profit on some of these longs. I don't think that applies, like I said. Well, I know that doesn't apply to DATS. Forget about Think. Like we know this doesn't apply to DATS. But this is one more time it's going to be testing this 1010. The good sign, it just put in a higher low at 990. If this stock, look, if this wipeout bottom ends up being true at 970, there is a decent chance you get a consolidation holding this 1010, and we could be talking about like an 11 breakout or 1075 in the afternoon if it gets some like I guess attention on the boards and all that other nonsense. But we looked at 970 wipeout bottom. This might be it. It's not true just yet because we're only at 950 in the morning. But if it holds this level through like 10:15, it starts to get very, very interesting. We haven't talked about that Tesla, but we did, and I'll get to that in a quick little second. I got stopped out in Futu. I liked it only to the short side, but I said I only wanted if it came into the 80 range. It got to 78 and then just fell $4. So, eventually it is going to come down. It's negative news in China. It's still holding the same support level at 74 even. So, this is one that I'll take for a breakout trade and only risk $1 breakdown because shorting this range didn't work the first time through, but I'll take it again. I'll take it at this price again. So Futu, this is the second time for me on a little bit more momentum this time, and then breaking a support that was there for the last hour and a half or 2 hours, the pre-market, and now working to the downside. It did go to 70 very, very early in the morning, so I would think that both 72 and 70 will be support levels for this stock on the way down, but that's $2 from here.
Yep. Okay, so right now we're over the moon here. We're not even really doing too much right now. We're just watching this one trade here. Thank you, Sam, Troy. Thank you, everybody on the chat. For the love on some of these calls and just for supporting the show. We talk about that all the time. I mean, support from you guys is what we need and what we continue to get. So thank you so much for all the love and the support shown to Trader TV Live. And on that send of things, let's do what everyone loves the most here. And you don't trade for something else other than money, then you're in the wrong business because right now there's Microsoft right to the upside, man. $300. So, wow, did we ever believe in this name? We averaged in not too many times. We've learned our lesson. We had a monster winner on a firm the other day, but it could have been so much bigger if it had just gone. Is there something happening with some of these weed names? What's up, Valeria?
Hey Sean, Ocugen made a nice jump to the upside at the open. Do you guys see any opportunities in OCGN today?
Yo, what's up, Greg? Yo. OCGN, I haven't really looked at it, but I will, Ms. V. We're still at $300 for this one. Palantir still going. And there's an update here on PayPal, guys. We did take a piece out right there. How many times we got to see this bounce? We've seen this happen numerous times. We'll still hold on for that upside move here as the market just ripping, man. $1.50 now as we're getting break 300. PayPal ripping, Palantir ripping. Today was a good day, they say.
So all I'll say about Ocugen is it broke through. Wow, look at that resistance at 750 that it's broken through. I only know about it because I was trading around that price yesterday, and this is what it looks like on the daily. Remember we talked about this? So many times it has tested this level and not been able to go through it. So do I see an opportunity? Yes, and it's got to be long. I mean, it was 935. More precisely, if that was the previous price, but 950 works just as well. I think you're buying dips, back at least to that 935 range. So thank you guys for pointing this one out. I don't know why it got missed today. Well, I do know why, because there was a heck of a lot to look at with more earnings coming through. I got the reload on a firm off that high, as it looks like it's rejecting again. Wow, this is off to the races.
Holy shit!
Watch out for 10 even on Ocugen. Like that could have a monster level. But I got the reload on a firm here, right in front of that high of the day. I'll take some out at VWAP, kind of rinse rinse and repeating that same action that we did just before. And Futu, for now in the money about 50 cents. Remember, first target is about $1.50. Not really looking to take 50 pennies on that stock.
Yo, what's good, PayPal? Brandon.
PaySafe, Sean.
Hell yeah.
5% here on decent volume as well. Just going to double check on PaySafe, but coming up to 775, which was the bottom on the way down here for PSFE.
Yeah, no need to check on it. Let's just let sleeping dogs lie.
Sleeping dogs.
Sleeping logs as well. We're just, let's go, man. The Wiz is right here. The People's Trader is in the building because right now, there goes PayPal, man, up to 264. So look at the winners we have on right now. We have $1.70 on Microsoft right here. We have $1.70 on PayPal right here. Okay, so that's it, man. Huge opportunities to the upside right there. And Miss V want to talk about OCGN and so sort of the viewers. So let's just go right over there and do that. I'm going to let these other trades just go, man. And if they continue to work, then that's absolutely fantastic. And we'll just let it go. OCGN, a big move here on the 20-minute chart. Ooh, already took that out. That would have been good in the 950 break. Would have been really nice. And then right now on the daily chart here for OCGN, if you are long this, we've wicked out to $11 a couple times, 10.20 maybe here as a spot to stop at. So yeah, OCGN, a nice look. Just watch out for some of these wicks. They're wicks for a reason, man. We've been up here and then faded off every single time. So 10.50 would be a spot of concern a little bit here.
Yeah, so exactly. I mean, I'm looking at 10 even because it's a round number. That's probably the only thing worth looking at in terms of resistance, because I don't know if it's going to have any. Once again, you're going to see a firm stair-stepping to the upside, so you are getting an upward trend right into that top. That's why, no way I want to let this break out the top, because the market is looking pretty strong, but we had to set up for a short, so we've taken it, and always going to trim some to make sure we're taking profit on the way down. That gives you some cover. That way if it breaks the top, you're not losing as much because you bank some profits. As I said, Futu, which is the one that didn't work the first time, it's continuing to slide into the downside. It doesn't care about the market. This was another negative Chinese headline when it comes to regulation. 72 is where we had that bid in front of, and Brendan's got something else for us.
All right, so this net teller, which is a part of PaySafe, introducing a fiat to crypto withdrawal service today. That was out a little while ago in the pre-market there. So it seems to be the catalyst here for PaySafe, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we kept talking about Skrillex, NetTeller. I mean, I know the story there with PaySafe. Obviously, that's why we talk about it. But thanks, Brendan, for that update. And we can look at a chart quickly here. Let's do that. I was just playing around about it because my average price on this is like $10.50 or I can find out. I'll bring it to you at the 3 o'clock show. It doesn't matter. It's 10 point something, whether or not it's 10.90 or 10.10. It doesn't matter to me. This is a long-term play. We've talked about that over and over again. On just on the pay side, on the data, on the transaction side of pay. So that's where that net teller comes through as well. So a nice little bump up here. But again, it's hard for me to look at a daily chart on this and be like, hey, this is a buy. I mean, we have been nibbling. I do have some bids down here. That's why we do have that average price. We like this name when it was BFT, right? So the BFT SPAC, and it was up at 18.19, and then it switched over symbols, and sort of since then has just been getting the downside. I believe it's November 10th on earnings. We can double check that, but November 10th, earnings are going to be coming on PaySafe, and to me, that will tell the story. Does it have an opportunity to go? Probably. Let's just check out quickly here with our friends at Trade Ideas. Thank you so much again for Trade Ideas giving us, allowing us to use some of their features here. So let's look up single stocks, and we'll type in here PSFE. I just want to see what the short is. I do not believe it's very high. Yeah, there it is. So 6%. So 6% short float according to Trade Ideas. You can go to FinViz.
PaySafe's that 6%?
Short, yeah, that's not. I mean, change since January minus 40%. So that's the big one for me. Okay, now we're getting excited here as Microsoft. Why. Yeah, exactly. Microsoft bounces off that 300, so we'll take another piece off here. Maybe that 300 is some sort of a resistance spot. So let's get out one more, and then we'll hold the last for hopefully a blast to the high size. PayPal $1.70 in the money. Let's just take off a piece of softy here.
Yeah, and speaking of resistance, definitely resistance on a firm because we'll do this. Again, I'm taking profit, and I talked about this yesterday with Moderna, with Jude, I think it was. There's lots of ways that you can make these plays. You can definitely have like a 152 half or 153 and just say I'm holding the entire thing to 150, and then I'm holding even more to 145. there's nothing wrong with that. It's just as most day traders tend to be a little bit more active because we can be. Fee structure is certainly a help. We can make more active trades. You see us make lots of executions. So I'm going to rinse and repeat it, taking it generally out here. Some of these shares in the 151 to 151.5 range. And then I'm looking to take, I don't have a bid anymore at that 150, but if it bounces off here, I'm looking to take more shares out at that price. It still does set up for, I'll show you the 15-minute chart. It still does set up for a 150 breakdown as well. So if it takes that level out, I mean, you got to scalp to 148 and then a 145 level. So it's almost like two trades in one, a short off the top, and then see if that breakdown happens at 150. DATS, I reloaded, but I reloaded a lot of times trying to test the long. Like DATS was good in the morning yesterday, and I know that like after the show, like during lunchtime, I just kept trying to find a bottom and then ended up negative on the stock. So I don't want to get too undisciplined with that. If this cannot hold this 970 level from the 15-minute chart, I'll just be done with it. I have reloaded here. It did give you this 80 bounce into 1010, so I'll take it another time, which I just did, and see if I can't get the same result while trying to maintain a core position. But if that can't hold this level, maybe it is truly just done.
Okay, yeah, DATS is done. Well, whatever. I mean, those names, we never know. I mean, volume could come straight up in there. Look at PayPal, man. Now we're $2 in the money as that continues to fly high there as well. We did really well on Microsoft today as well. And then, of course, our biggest and baddest trade, not really today, Palantir. Right now to the upside. So that's going to be a good one. Just now trying to take out this 50 level. Probably should be sitting here. I thought I was, but I was not. So we always trade out around these numbers. So we'll put another offer out here and get out of a little bit of Palantir if we can to the upside right now. So that was a good move. We got to take advantage of some of it. We did dip back down, so we know that Palantir can sort of, turn on a dime for us. So let's not rest on this trade. Let's get a little bit more out here if we can at 46 or 47. That's ripping up. We have an offer at 50 now, so we'll see if that can come out. But PayPal, I don't really have too much here to talk about with them, other than that we're trying to hold this as much as we can, as there's really no levels up here. We talked about 266.50 or so. So right now, PayPal, as long as the market goes, man, we like it, and we'll sit here and wait for that.
I can do gates of hell, both for 2 reasons at the same time. Like it's the exact same time as I'm getting filled on a firm is exactly when DATS broke that bottom. So you just finished saying I'm not going to chase this 970 level again. Look, I'm not saying it's done. Obviously, when I say done, I sort of mean like for the day trade at these levels. So maybe we can revisit it at lunchtime. I'm still going to be reloading probably at least one more time on a firm if we test the high. At this point, I do expect that 150 to go, and I still want to be adding it to 150 if I can get it. Futu's not doing a heck of a lot, but this NRXP, by the way, it got down to like $11, and then look at this volume spike right back into that 1250 range. So I mean, I'm short at 1244. It retests 1250 and looks like it wants to reject. So what am I going to do on the lower consolidation? I'll take a shot at the reload right here. Clean stop at like a 1250. If it breaks that, you're hunting for the high of the day. That's like, it's at $14. I'm not holding 1250s all the way to 14. That's like 10%. I pretty much am never holding a small cap 10% against me. Even if it was a penny stock, I just really never do that.
Okay. Yeah, don't even talk about Clover, guys. Honestly, like I have those options and they're going to go out of the money, and it's like, whatever, Clover. But we are long. Okay, Clover, I see you. I see what you're doing right now. What day is it today? Tell me it's only Thursday. Yes, it is. Okay, good. So we do have some opportunities to buy this name again, maybe, and see what happens into tomorrow. So we have $9 calls. They're going to expire out of the money. So it doesn't really matter, but we also did buy the equity. So nice move. We bought the equity down at 7. We talked about that. We also tweeted, I guess that was another name that we bought, but I don't consider Clover I mean, I do have some in the longer term, but we are trying to play this for its meme valuation right now, as Clover just continues to go to the upside right now. It's been actually a pretty great day for us, other than, or for me and for Neil, I guess, other than plug today, guys. Thank God we got out of the way of that one. This was a mistake, so I will flush myself down the toilet. And this is all about being honest, right? I tell you guys when I'm red on the day. I tell you, when we've had these bad trades, so on and so forth. This was a plug one, and I was trash talking this trade. Thank God we took 40 cents there, but then we averaged in and dumped it. So that's why it's going to be our red stock of the day. But obviously, a stock like Microsoft, that's now $2.50. $2 in the money at 350 cents right now. That's starting to make some money for us. PayPal's $2.70 in the money. So when we're talking about taking 30 cents hits on plug, sure, they're hits and they suck, but we're trying to do the best we can on some of these other names. So here we go. PayPal. Wow, PayPal. This one, man. Wow. This has just been, I don't know where this came from, other than the fact that we noticed a 262 level was coming up. I can show you, it looks a little bit better on the E-signal charts here, this 262 level. I mean, it's not even that much. It was just right in here. Like I just noticed 262 there, 262. We're only going back just about a week. And then today, some momentum to the upside there. And this is a name that I own in my account as well. So this was my call of 2020 at $108. Doesn't matter. Valuations have changed so much. But here goes PayPal, man, right to the upside. We did get out another piece of Palantir. That was a good buy down here. So far, so good, man. We're going to go 4 for 5, and they're monsters. So hopefully you guys have some of this with us, and we'll just spin the money off for today's trading, guys. It's been a good one. Thanks for watching. It's 10:03 already, Neil.
Yeah, we're past it for happening. I'll get back to Futu just rolled over, and there was a big bid at 73, which just got taken out. So it looks like it has a decent chance to pop down to 72. I want $2 on the first leg of this trade, so I'm not really settling for this move down here. It's only about $1 in the money, and the stock is down 13%. I think it might retest some of those lows. Chinese headlines have driven these stocks down in the past multiple days. Overdue to head you on over to Brendan at the big screen, because it is time for happening now. Only thing red on that screen is
Banks? No.
Hey guys, yeah, time for a look at North American markets here. Nicely positive right across the entire board here, top to bottom, 1 full percent, really all the way down to even the Russell here, 1.1. So all in positive territory there for the U.S. here in Toronto, about 0.8. Back to the upside as well. So looking good so far. A few things we were talking about this morning. Domino's did test lower initially, but straight back to the upside, approaching that 475 again, which was support going back the past couple of days for DPZ. Morgan Stanley back to these levels from yesterday afternoon, trying to bounce here as well, but straight southbound out of the gate for MS, guys. Back to you.
There was another stock that reported earnings today that we didn't get to, United Health. United Health went $20 off the open. I was looking at this because I thought Danaher would make a bit of a move as well if it came to the downside. But this could be an unbelievable dip buy opportunity in UNH. Just whoop, there's the daily chart for you guys. Broken the 50 period by like a mile at this point, and I kind of look at this cluster up here. It's right at that 420 level. Oh goodness, it's right at that 420 level that it's pulling back into. That was previous resistance when it made that dip down to. Oh, look at that. The 200 period moving average and 385 support on United Health. That was a monster missed opportunity, but I already own United Health. I was looking to add Danaher instead, which is stupid. Could have had this one. But 420 looks like a good dip buy in United Health, but I'm not chasing it. Why am I not chasing it? Because you're running right into some key levels on both the NASDAQ and the ES at this moment. The ES going back into, I think it was a couple of days ago, a 44.10 high, which we're breaking right now, and the NASDAQ at 15,000. So I don't necessarily want to be trying to play that breakout too crazily there, but UNH, if it comes back, that can be a good dip. NRXP, which we just talked about, catching the rollover, it tries to test that 1250. I grab my reload at 1220, not 1240, which I had. I'm sitting on the bid in front of like 75, 1180, and then we'll get more out in front of 1150 as that continues its flush into the downside. And then we're just holding on to a firm and Futu in the money to the short side. NVIDIA on the break, the second break. It's holding at the high end of the range, but not really testing any higher. And I think that's all to do with the NASDAQ at 15,000. NASDAQ breaks 15,000, it should be good to go.
Okay, so we're going to get out of PayPal here if it takes out this 265.50 right now. So we will wait to get out of that one if it comes back to the upside. So that'll be a monster trade for us, up $3.50. If we could get that, we'll get it, and then we'll just maybe I'll cancel this one. Yeah, let's cancel it. I mean, the NASDAQ's still going here, so we still have a good opportunity to get some more shares here of PayPal if it dips back in. But for right now, looks like it wants to take out those tops, and then I don't really have. I mean, I'm not shocked. I mean, these stocks can run, but I wasn't expecting this kind of a move off this play. So is a little bit too fast here. So 266, I think we talked about that as an area. I think that's a good level to get out. So I mean, right now we're in the money $3.25 on this name. We're in the money $2.50. I mean, Microsoft just keeps on going and going and going and going and going. So I mean, this is another play. We did get some out there. Oh, it broke 299.60. Don't really know why we did that. But here we go, man. Wow, $3 now, $3.50 now. I mean, good thing we didn't get out of PayPal. But I think 266. Let's stay a little bit disciplined and just stick with what we're doing here and read charts, make the plays for you on small caps, big caps, whatever. We're here, so hopefully this can be a play. This 265.50, I think I might just do it a couple times here. Let's take this out on PayPal, man. The Nasdaq's had a monster run, up 1.5%. We'll take some out on PayPal and then watch and see what we do on Microsoft. Look for some key levels, but let's get this PayPal out for $3 winner, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like you hang on. This is the time of day. I think a lot of times you're hanging on to your winners and reassessing anything that isn't working in a market like this. So market is continuing to push to the upside. I guess got that first leg out of NRXP. I got more. I'll put another bid at 1150 in case it wants to push even further. And I can tell you, look, anything that's weak in this market right now, you kind of know you've got it right. And look. If this market were to turn, I don't know what's going to happen to this Futu, but I'm not adjusting the plan. I just got the fill in front of 72. I was not moving that bid. I put that one in front of 72. Just, you guys can probably see it. Like in the morning, and sort of when I sat down, it was exactly when it was just shortly after I sat down, it was bouncing off this 72 level. And then I saw it make this test in here to 75, 76. And that's why I was putting on the short in this range. You know, it broke to the upside, it held 78, and then I go right back into the same range, 74 to 72, down to this 70 level. So we'll continue to hold on to that. Firm is working as well. The only thing it isn't is NVIDIA's continue like NVIDIA is the one that's going to be a stinker for me because I reloaded and immediately stopped out. Did not catch the dip buy because I wanted 210.50. It then retakes the high. I'm like, I'll put the breakout trade right back on in the same range. And if it wants to hold the top end of the range again, I'll give this one, it's a breakout, so I'll give this one, you know, about $1 to $1.50. And if we're going upside here in NVIDIA, that's okay, there you go. If we're going upside in NVIDIA, when this will support at 213.50, you know, this is that top. It's 217.60. Like, I don't even want to take anything out until it gets to 215, 216, and then more, you know, like $3 or $4 in the money. So, you know, I want to see NVIDIA extend the breakout. You give it $1.50 to try to go 3 to 5. That's the nature of the game. So I could be sitting in this one for a while. I kind of hope I am, obviously. If it doesn't work out, then I go 0 for 2 on NVIDIA. And for you guys that are looking at Ocugen, yeah, it's not getting to that, well, I shouldn't say that. Right now, it doesn't look like it's testing that 10. It's now gone to 975 a couple of times. I'm pulling back the dip buy because, look, it double tops here at 975. This could fall like an absolute rock and then turn into one of those things where, you know, Ocugen tries to go. But if it cannot hold this breakout, I would have thought this is going to 10 and then 11. But if it doesn't break this 975, and that's a double top, you could be looking, you know, right back at these $9, $8.50 price levels on Ocugen. It seems to always fall. I'm not shorting it yet, but I am going to cancel my dip buy on Ocugen for now.
Yeah, PaySafe nicely up 6% today. That's a good one. Did we ever find out? I mentioned weed stocks a little bit here, Brendan. I don't know. I didn't really see anything coming through any of the wires here today, but Weed Batman's in the building, and we'll smoke one here and see what's happening because weed stocks nicely up. I mean, I'm holding the bag like big time on. I mean, not big time. I've cashed out. Probably made money. I mean, we first were gone long CGC, you know, $6. Well, and that doesn't look good now, but where it's come from was a pretty good trade. So CGC, I mean, I can't recommend a buy on any of these names, but today it's been a nice move to the upside for CGC. Let's check out Tilray. Tilray actually owned more shares. Actually owned more shares of CGC, but more shares of Tilray than I want because of the merger there with Afria. But Tilray also up that 4.5%. So we'll wait to see if there's any news on it. Then we'll sort of assess what's going on with some of these. But for right now, I don't know much, but probably Brendan does.
Yeah, there's not much, guys. There's a lot of, or a few anyways, individual headlines. So individual headlines on individual companies, like Canopy acquiring this Wana Brands, which is an edibles company. So that's actually going to get them in or more exposure in the U.S. A couple of minor headlines as well on Tilray, but nothing really significant for the entire group.
There's a, yeah, did you get the email, man? Juan sent it out. There's a water flushing happening in the building. So if water comes crashing down on us, we have to watch out. But,
no, we'll be fine. But thank Prague.
Just say Prague.
Yeah, I try to chew out these company names, and it's like whatever. I'm not even gonna bother. Holding that $2 level. Hey, good level on Prague. I should be noticing this because I shorted this range twice, like the 215 down to 2 even, and then the 230, right back down to like 215 the last time. The third time it stopped out, and look at that top. It's 245. That's what I would look for. Now that it's broken back up, it's that 245 lower high range where I would probably be shorting. But hey, this is if you see us go long and short, and if you like the other direction, who cares? Play off the levels because sometimes like a bottom for a short trade can be a great support area and a place to buy the long. If I had paid attention to that, I would have been buying in front of 2 even. Maybe not yesterday because I was right at 4 o'clock, but today on a dip, why not? 245 though, guys, if you're watching this, I think that's going to be some resistance up there, and you can already see what happened when it got to 265, 270. It was a wick top, and it absolutely felt like a rock. So a couple of things. I'll go back to Affirm, only because it's getting close to that 150 again. I'm going to leave it on the 15-minute chart so you can see. This is yesterday's high, failure at 150. It tried to break that high, said we'll let it test that high of the day. I've done the scalping that I will off of this level. At this particular point, I'm adding on a 150 break, and I think this move takes us to 145. I love Affirm. Like Sean said, I've sort of been saying it's too far. Look, I've been wrong about it being too far from about 130 to 150. The only good thing I can say is I haven't sold any of my personal account because I want to believe in this one long term. So there it is. I just added to my short position on that 150 break. I would even consider if it popped back up to 152, sort of reloading in that regard. But I'll get some bids because it's a breakdown trade, some in front of 148, but I want to be maintaining a core position all the way down to 145 on Affirm. Now, you've seen, like, when it puts in moves, it's given you, like, monster rejections from 145 to 135 where you're getting both directions of the trade. So you want to make sure you open yourself up to bigger moves on a stock like Affirm, which, it's been one of the biggest, I guess, volatility movers in the last few weeks. We want to see if it can continue that trend. That'd be fantastic if it did. That PROG, by the way, testing those highs, 245 is where it's at for me. Otherwise, I'm hands off on that stock. $2 or 245 or nothing.
Yeah, just looking. I don't know. I don't want to really. I was going to talk about those marijuana stocks, but I don't really. I'm not sure if that news is going to be good. No, I just don't know if it's going to be good enough to trade there. Just some individual stuff. They're buying an edibles company. I mean, I thought, what's her name there? Martha Stewart was involved with Canopy and some edibles or something. So, yeah, just kind of like old story new, but I don't know. Okay, so there's the PayPal out. Again, how many times do we have to see this? This could be, we could wind up being pretty mad about missing this trade, which we tend to be sometimes. But at the same time, I mean, it's barcoded enough here to say that we wanted to get out. So that's what we did here. On this name, and that's PayPal, and we're out. So we're out of PayPal, cleaned it out. That's $3.20 straight to the upside there on PayPal. Play the momentum in as soon as the NASDAQ started going, and we did indicate that on the NASDAQ, so I'm pretty happy with it. When we talked about it bouncing off this 14,900, I mean, this was, again, shout out to Arun. I don't know what levels he was talking about, but like I identified this 14,900, and I said I'm going to switch over to start trading some of the Qs, so I'm going to add that into said portfolio and just sharpen the knives a little bit with the futures, because that 14,900, we talked about that on the show, and that's when, why I didn't dump, the Softy or the PayPal or anything, and we were able to hold on to that. Like, talk about Microsoft. I mean, 301 right now. Hey, what's up, Raptors? Oh yeah, remember we talked about Freddie Gillespie that I saw on the street? Yeah, waved. So see you, Freddie Gillespie.
Well,
not going to be a Raptor right now. I don't even know if he got sent to G League. Maybe he did.
But here's the thing, like, if it's not to say that we're the biggest sports fans in the world, but hey, we're decent Raptors fans. If we don't recognize a guy, he's probably not.
I'm on the Raptors season seat waiting list right now.
Nice.
So yeah, so we're gonna.
I like it.
We're gonna see about that.
See, hold on, I gotta say this. You have the advantage of Marissa actually liking basketball. My wife hates basketball.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't tell her yet. But doesn't matter.
So before we,
I want to bring the kids, man. I mean, I know you bring your daughter to the Jays games, and it's about just getting them involved in that kind of stuff. But there goes Softy 301.
I was going to say this, and I should get back to NRXP because sometimes I ignore the small caps that are sort of gliding to the downside, which this one is. But I just got some shares that I had the bids here. Of course, I showed you guys, below 11, in front of 1180, and then here at this cluster here in front of 1160, and we had the reload in the 20s. So it's going to take that. It's about like 55 pennies. I just tweeted this out. If this does not break this 1120, just sort of in the back of your mind, allow yourself to realize this stock could still jailbreak to the high, right? So if it holds a higher low here, like there's no reload again at this 1250 level. Absolutely not. Like at this point, if it holds a higher low, I'm just getting out of the last of these shares and walking away from this trade until it retests the high. So I will adjust my I'll adjust my stop at 1250. I even don't like the fact that my last entry was at 17s instead of like 27s or maybe like 33 or something along those lines. But I got what I got. So far, it's worked out for me. There's no way I want this to turn red, right? Like you don't want to lose on a stock like this, because you were too stubborn with the short trade. So if it breaks this high, I'm going to be all out. A firm, like I said, it's gliding down, but I want to make sure that I'm getting the most out of the trade. So I'm sort of bidding in front of this 148.50 range. I did add on the 150 break. Hopefully this will end up being the day that we solve a firm a little bit better. Like every day, every time I've made money on a firm, I felt like I haven't made enough. The same has been kind of true for Moderna. Moderna wasn't good for me yesterday. I think a firm this time you have the market testing 15,000, right, on the NASDAQ, and a firm is coming back in. So I would be absolutely shocked if this didn't follow through coming back down to 145, especially if we reject this 15,000 level. As far as NVIDIA goes, I'm kind of holding on to this break. The break didn't work the first time, so I came right back into it. It held the dip. This particular time, I didn't add to it because I'm like, forget it. If I lost one time on it, no need to double down. That's not the daily chart I wanted. The 15-minute is up here. If it does break higher, it's this range I'm looking for back on the 27th. It's about like 215 up to 218, guys. So you look at that range. The last time it bounced off that level, it recovered there. That's where I think NVIDIA can go to. So first out would be around that 15. The rest, you're looking anywhere from that 16.5 to 218 range, wherever the market wants to take us.
Yep, exactly. So and that's part of what we're doing right now. You can read charts, but ultimately the market's going to tell you what it wants to do. Look at PayPal, right? I mean, we read that chart, barcoded for a while there, and we got out, and now we're, like I said, this may be the trade that we're like, we look back on it and we're like, why did we get out? But again, that's exactly what Neil was just talking about. Like, you got to watch out, and you never think that you ever make enough money on any trade, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is unless you have like a situation like DATS yesterday where we got the hell out of the way of that trade. That was a good one to survive that dip down in DATS yesterday. But for here on PayPal, let's see where it goes. That's why we're sort of holding out and hoping that Microsoft will be the one that continues to go, because I'm having the same thoughts right now about Sir Softy here at 301, because I mean, again, barcoding a little bit on the upside here. The NASDAQ I still think can go, so that's why I don't want to drop this. But right now it looks like it's struggling to the top side here. Microsoft at 301, so that could be a situation that we look to dump some shares in. So that's going to be, I don't know. I just hope this is not wrong. With that being said, I mean, I guess you can always get out here at 350 cents. So if that does come through, that's not a bad spot for Softy if you are nervous about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you have to also evaluate your trades and maybe change your game plan. Is it not just as the futures get to big levels, but also as the market it gets a little bit later on in the session, because volume can die down, things get a little bit more barcodey or range bound, I should say. That core, by the way. Look, it is what it is, and there's always a rule that I have about chasing a move like this, so the failure that I wanted happened, but look where the consolidation is. It was just entirely too low. I was on the offer here from the 911 to like 920 range here and trying to chase it. I didn't chase it further. Had I done so, it just came all the way back in, which I thought could happen, but ultimately, I followed my rules, and sometimes following your rules means missing out on trades. But you know what? It saves you money more than it does have you miss trades, and that's why you do it. It makes us money, and that's why we do it. Getting an update from Brendan with the small cap recap.
Hey guys, quick recap here of what was moving. There was a lot of them this morning, so we'll go pretty quick here. This one I was talking about just before the open, 1250 was the level I mentioned, then 14 above that. So very, very wide range. If it was to get back above 1250, obviously doesn't happen. Bottoms out around 11 there. I just actually got back into this versus 12. As I was saying, this was bought a couple of times around that 12 area. So it came back up, tested 12, kind of failed again. So that was, I don't know, it's going to need some volume though. We'll see what happens at 12 there for NRXP. I went too far. There we go. Nikola. Nikola up on some news this morning. Fades off as Nikola does typically before obviously stopping out the first time. So took two shots at Nikola. The second one was the one that ends up going. So nice move back to where it was yesterday for Nikola. And then, this core, this is why I don't really like trading these low float stocks. I got caught in that halt to the upside. So this is going to be a negative stock, even with the move back down. So it immediately retakes this 880, which was that level from the pre-market, and then just absolutely collapsed all the way down to 680. So again, still going to be negative for me because of that stop out. But finally, on the backside, ends up being a nice trade, guys. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And I'll do, oh no, I'm supposed to hit the, goodness, there it is. I got to it fast.
Yay,
yay, yay, yay, yay, yay.
He found it.
That'll be for a firm because, like I say it every single time it happens. Brendan came on and this candle happened in a firm. I was on the bid in front of 148.50, so there's nothing I can do about this. Like, I'm just going to take the fill as it chews through. It's a $2 candle down on a firm. The second Brendan opened its mouth, so that one's going to be fantastic. Look, we were shorting it 151.5, 152.75, 153, the absolute top. We got top wick on this stock. And again, it was a bit of a more patient approach. A lot of days I'd have already been short at 150 and this started it too early, not allowing me to hold on to the trade. This allowed me to also add at the 150 range. So those are the shares that I still have on, and these are the shares I want to take all the way down to 145. So I feel like with the market still testing that 150 level, sorry, 15,000 level. What do I even mean? 150 was what I have in a firm. Still testing that 15,000 level and a firm going down. Certainly it's got some relative weakness. Speaking of relative weakness, I'm just going to point this out because I'm not sure I know what's going on because I haven't really checked it. On my quote board, this is Lyft down 2.3%. And if I scroll down to, I'm very, very happy to see Uber trading to the upside, up 1.5%. But somebody tell me why they're going in different directions here today. Brendan.
Your SPAC of the day is brought to you by Horizon Acquisition Corporation. Just coming out with this headline. There it is. They got a pipe investment apparently from DraftKings, guys. So HZAC going crazy here, 12.5%.
Yeah, let's check out some DraftKings, actually. I like some DraftKings. We talked about why we like them now. I think they made that little dip down in the market in their stock price down to, what was it, 51? Like, what is that now, 51? So it went down to, what, 46, 47 there. A nice rebound in DraftKings. We talked about why we sort of like this name. We did dump some at 62 as I thought it was overextended, and, it proved me wrong on that one. But yeah, that was a good out for DraftKings at 62 bucks. But there's the bottom, 48. So that, again, this is a name that I like right now. So as part of, potential investing strategies or whatever you guys are doing, DraftKings at these levels looks like a nice one because, you've bounced off this 48. Now you're testing 52. There seems to be obviously news. Brendan just brought that to us. So, they're doing things. And again, first mover, we know that they're an ARC name as well. So DraftKings on watch. I think that's a good investment at these levels. And then we'll wait to see for a longer time frame. But right now, DraftKings, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue against them. Ultimately, that score deal went through with Penn, but I do prefer Penn. I do prefer DraftKings myself as well, though I will be involved in, will be a shareholder in Penn rather shortly, and it certainly has that casino aspect to it. But I want to get back to Futu for a brief second here. So it bounces off this, and sometimes these stocks, it's not that complicated because you look at this pre-market support when liquidity dies. Kind of look like where buyers and sellers are comfortable, I guess, trading. And they were comfortable trading around 72. That's the same thing here, buying 72, I should say. So it's going to bounce off this level, but I'm holding out. I don't even have bids down in front of 70. I want this to test because if it takes out 70 even, this stock could absolutely die, guys. On the daily chart, before we go to Miss V, on the daily chart, this is what it looks like. If 70 goes right here, you're talking about on the daily support at $61 on Futu. That's why I want to see if I can give this one some room, but I want to give you guys what you want, Miss V.
Hey guys, it's officially like o'clock. It's a great trading day so far. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of opportunities on the markets. I know you're busy trading, but we would really appreciate if you find a second and smash the like button. Guys, more than 5,000 people are watching, so please let's make likes great again. Go along to the like button. Back to you guys.
Thank you,
my
Ms. V.
goodness.
Thank you, Ms. V.
I hadn't hit the like this morning, which usually, I log into the chat and I'm like, can I beat like Big Moo and some of these other guys in the chat? Can I beat them to getting the likes? I'm never one. Sometimes I get like 3, 5,
Big Moo?
10. Today I'm like over 1,000. So fail on my part. Like I should be, if I had the face slap one, I don't know where my face slap is. So
I mean, I only have slapped my own face, but
no, mine is it's on here somewhere, man. Every time I want to look for it, I just can't find it.
Well, Neil, I mean, I hit the like.
I know.
I hit the like.
So, by the way,
1.5K, guys. Thank you so
There we
much
go.
for doing that right now. 1.5K. So thank you to Miss V. We did want to do the like, train there. So that was a good one. It's always like a clock when Miss V's around.
It always is, and it should always be like a clock. Especially, look, if you aren't happy about the market testing 15,000, which is slight rejection right now, I think we're going to be okay though. If you're a bull in DATS, hey man, I'm happy for you. I don't know. I can hit this one. It's a trap. It's a trap. So, look, ultimately, I got stopped out like when this broke that low of the day. I do feel like the volume's starting to taper off a little bit. You want to see it put in a higher low. I'm not completely convinced yet, but if this can hold on a dip, that 970 again, that old level that we're looking at, I think you're good to go on that name. I can tell you Affirm is now gonzo, 147s on Affirm. So you're going to see it continue to fall in. And again, the 15-minute chart tells the entire story for me. I always show you guys the 1-minute chart, probably far too much here, but this time frame is far more valuable in terms of analyzing like the Affirm trade. This is at previous 145. This is yesterday's support. You get the breakout. I was always wanting to hold to this level. If it breaks 145 and goes down to 140, I'd be shocked. I'd be very surprised because the market's very strong here in Affirm. I still believe in the company at the end of the day, guys. So if it gets my target, we'll be out. We'll wash our hands of this one. Maybe even look for a bottom pick here. If not at 145, that 140, 1,000,000%, I would be trying to buy Affirm at that 140 level. That NRXP, so a small cap where the 1 minute does matter, guys. Continuing to bounce off a higher low. Again, no reload for me if it's retest 1250. There's no chance I want to take there. You're asking about AMC, is that moving? Oh, yeah.
AMC's moving like madhouse right now. So I just went short right now on it. So thanks. And my bad, Sterling and all you guys. I mean, I normally am watching this all the time. But, I mean, we've just been a little infatuated with some of the other trades that we have on. So we'll test this into that 40 level. I do want to smack that 40 if it gets going. I don't know. I've asked Brendan to see if there's anything on there. But the thing about it is, right now, what I'm looking at here is like this 39 level. That was sort of the technical break to the upside. GameStop also looks like it's starting to go maybe a little bit. Yeah, so we'll go short on AMC, but this is not going to be forever short, that's for sure. Let's see if we can get it back here, 39.40 or something, and paint this chart with this short. So we're only short right now at 80, so it's not a huge win for us at all. Unfortunately, there it goes, man. Mamma mia, Microsoft. How did you do that to us? You did us dirty right there. As we only took that $2 win on Microsoft, but that was still a good trade. We talked about that double top, or not double top, like infinite tops here at 301. We should have took that. Let's hopefully PayPal. Yeah, see, and this is the other thing. Like I just said, man, we would make the mistake on one and not on the other. So we get out on this barcoding and give up basically $1. A little bit, yeah, about 80 cents or so on the upside there of PayPal, and then we sort of ignored the same kind of and this is what I was actually talking to my wife last night, and like, how do you know when to hold on to some of these things? And I know, like, I'm not supposed to be the one asking these questions, but the point is like,
yes, we are.
Yeah, it's like, why did that not keep going? Yet PayPal did, right? So there are those issues, but you have to watch out for that. Here goes AMC right now. I hate doing this, but bullseye right there on AMC as we have that short, and it just came right back in. So I know a lot of you are long, but I'm going to take a little bit of profit now. This is a good move back to the downside. Let's take this 25 cents.
Yeah, and you can't look at one without the other. It's worth noting triple top on GameStop on the 15-minute here. Bang, 188. It's more like 188.50, 12. It then broke it and rejected it. So, I mean, it's not they have to move together, but, I mean, good luck. AMC, Sean's AMC going out of the money in front of 40 if GameStop's not going to take out that high. I think they tend to move lockstep a little bit here, guys. A big support is the artist or the trader formerly known as Jude Fernando. We used to know you as Jude. Yeah, so there was a big support level at 72, which
he
just
changed
got.
Name or
yeah,
something?
He changed his name, which I think it's fun. Why not? Have a little shake things up a little bit. Why not?
What's her name?
It's the trader formerly known as Jude.
Oh, she actually. Okay,
Jude
I haven't
Fernando.
seen her. Okay.
But 72 support, and the same thing happened at 73. It's now breaking on Futu, so the low of the day here is 70.31. I'm gonna cover in front of 70.50 because this is room to go on a breakdown. Like I showed you on the daily chart, like if this breaks 70 even, it's room to go. So much like Affirm, I can just get more shares if it breaks that level, and it also sets me up to short any kind of a pop that it could potentially make. I shouldn't say is going to make. Some of you have been trading this Prague. Like I said, I'm not going to say the company name because I always bungle it up. I don't want to touch this. It's coming back in. If it were to go all the way to $2, fine. I think you're more than welcome to be buying in front of that support. We checked out the 15-minute chart, but it still has a chance to bounce off of VWAP. And then remember, it's that 245 area that's going to be of concern. I might have looked the ultimate gift horse in the mouth on a firm, because it got to 147. It was like another $1 away from my target, and then I didn't get out. Now, I don't like the notion of reloading right back at 150 when I do think there's still this, VWAP's here at 151. There's still this previous pre-market high, 152. Also like a Head and Shoulders, 152 up here as well. So if I do reload this trade, it's going to have to come all the way back into the 51 to 52 range, which I absolutely will reload on a firm. Brendan, what's up?
Another one moving today, guys, that Hellbiz. There was a headline in the pre-market there on Hellbiz. They teamed up with the NFL to stream NFL content in Italy. So live streaming NFL games coming to Italy if you are there. 10:30, guys, let's get a check on what's happening over in Europe. Miss V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets hit 2-week highs on optimism around earnings. E-commerce company TAG trading in London also climbed more than 6% in attempt to rebound from a 35% drop on Tuesday. Back to you.
Yeah, nice day shaping up, guys, both here and over in Europe so far.
Shout out to Emily1 there. Thanks for the chat on Instagram. Yesterday, that was a good one. Emily1, I just see you in the chat there. Yeah, we do love ourselves some Palantir as it continues to go. So whatever, man. I mean, this is just, it's crazy because we knew something like this would happen on AMC, right? And so, hey, it's going to be a positive stock for us. We put that on the board. It's because we cashed out there. And, this is going to look silly. Anything purple. It's because I have a higher offer. Darn it. That should be red. That was a sell there. So we got out of our AMC. So we did exactly what we said we would do there. So that's why you're seeing us flat right there. But nice move to the downside. We just covered that. That was 40 cents, or that was, we short of 81 there, cover 50 flat, so 30 cents there. And then we got out there, so we give back 20 cents on the short, breaking through 40. So that was 31 minus 20, so we're still in the money, 10 cents. And then there's the big move to the upside. We just got out there at 25. We do that all the time at the quarter. So then we make another 25 cents. So whatever it shows on the board there should be about 35 cents, give or take some slippage on my math. But still, a nice 35-cent win for AMC. We always going to reverse that if it does have that kind of momentum going to the upside. So test it once at 40, which it did. We shorted that. That was, again, a nice 40-cent win. I wish we would have taken it all out. As congratulations, man. Wow. AMC spinning this for you guys today. Anybody long this name? We've asked, Brendan just said, just Twitter action, no news, social media, stuff like that. So, yeah, man, Ape Nations reign supreme. Our trader Prad getting ready to rock and roll. Prad, you now have much more content today than in the past, as AMC right now starting to go back to the upside, up that 7%. Great trade. As I said,
and by the way, GameStop did break that triple top, right? So they are kind of going in lockstep. And then BlackBerry's another meme name.
It must be because my kid's interviewing there. I think that's what it is. I think that's what's rallying.
So it's like our buddy, who I won't name his name, he leaves a certain bank. He leaves Procter. And I hate to make this joke. We have a friend who left Procter, and then it's like the stock went up the day after he left, and then he went to another bank. He went to a bank, and the stock went down. It was complete coincidence. We joke about it all the time.
I mean, he's such a successful.
He is a very successful guy. That's why we can joke about it.
Let's not get that twisted, right?
But thank you for the super chat, Dominic. You just showed BlackBerry. NRXP, it is rocking, and I'm gonna double down on what I said here. I am still short this name. If it breaks 1250 without taking out this higher low at 1150, this is jailbreaking to the high of the day, which right now sits at 1375. So no reload for me on this short. No chance. It either breaks low of the day and we can hang on to it, or I'm getting stopped out at 1250 and there's no in between. I'm actually considering myself reversing into the long. I'm not there yet because I want to see the volume spike. Actually, there you go. You can see volume. I want to see the volume spike get back up to these levels that you had when it actually tested 1250 the first time. If that's the case, then I would reverse into the long, but I'm just not seeing that kind of volume yet, so no reason to jump into it.
Pretty happy with, maybe it's calls that are expiring at some point, yeah. Hey, what's up, Leo Wilson? Hey, Sean, given Neo's big dip, would you change the strategy from the sticky note on it today? You know what, I haven't even been watching. Yeah, I mean, the sticky note, so just to let you guys know, like Microsoft's on here, right? So we've already made the money on Microsoft, right? We've already looking for that SoFi top. We can check out SoFi right now too. I will do Neo for you, but we're looking at that SoFi top and we wrote it down $20. And what we wrote on here was, too far, too fast on SoFi. It's right on the sticky note. And if those of you guys, that are just joining us right now at Trader TV Sean, I'm going to show it one more time for you because the sticky note is the most popular tweet that I have on a daily basis anyways. And I think that makes sense why. But here you go. SoFi, wow, too far, too fast. We even mentioned that, right? Microsoft, wow, back to 300. A lot of wows I use. But there it is, too short, right? We're going to short it around 20, right? Is there enough momentum to get this thing through? I thought it was too far. So that's what we're doing on SoFi. And then you talked about NEO. Should start to go back to 40, I think. I still think that. Looking at the pre-market yesterday, 36.70 long. So that never broke, right? So obviously I didn't get into it. So unless it did break and my order didn't fill. So let's go see right now. So again, looking at SoFi, it's already down. We called that short there, right? We didn't get it up to 19. It did go to 1980 right off the open. So if you looked at my tweet and the sticky note, you'd be short SoFi right off the open and you're getting 55 cents, right? Does that mean I think it's short now? No, it's just what happened there off the open made me think that there was a chance there for that to be a short trade. NEO, okay, let's go to NEO now that we've talked about SoFi and the question. Thank you, Leo, again, man. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Goldman, there for the love as well. Here it is, right? There's that 36.70 level. I liked it for a long. It looks like it was a fantastic short. NEO just got clobbered there off the open. We did talk about that FUTU and stuff, different Chinese regulations. Yeah. Not that we expect that to hit NEO by any chance.
But it usually doesn't.
It's not good rhetoric, right? I mean, you don't need to hear about governments trying to basically influence the capital markets. You can think about what you want about China and how their markets are free or not, but I mean, at the same time, we've seen what happened to DD shareholders that got absolutely destroyed. Like, check out DD, guys. Like the day before, what was it, 2 days or 3 days after they got all the U.S. money on the IPO?
That was dirty.
This is why. It's just too dirty. Like, they come out, Jim Cramer slaps buys on them. Uber, of course, has a stake in them as well, Neil. You know that?
As a shareholder, I was pretty pissed off at that. The way that went.
And then it's just like, they come out and then 3 days later, 1, 2, 3, the Chinese government comes out and says, hey, well, we have issues with them collecting data. We have issues with how they're operating their business and blah, blah, blah. Pull them all from the App Store. And then now DD, although I think looking at this chart, DD may have found a bottom here at 750, but I'm not investing in any of these names. I'm holding my BOBA shares and I'll just give those to my kids because I don't think there's going to be too much movement in the next little while on some of these Chinese names, but there are some good dip opportunities.
So I'm only basically holding on to 4 things. NRXP, the last of my shares, is probably going to turn into a loser, but we sort of banked our profit, and I think it might be heading up, guys. NVIDIA is back in the money, and I went back to NVIDIA well because it's like it's a stock that I liked. It gives you the same breakout with the market moving up, so I go back to the well after losing on initially. And I didn't do this on Walgreens. And I just typed in the chat, someone's like, what a huge reversal in Walgreens. And I was like, I couldn't find a level that I liked for the dip buy, other than the one that I put in, right? So I take the one hit on Walgreens, and I'm like, what in the absolute heck are you talking about, Neil? I didn't find a level that I liked if it dipped any further. It's because I didn't expect it to break 46. I mean, unbelievable. If I keep this chart up and notice that Walgreens breaks 46, look at how ridiculous 45 is on this daily chart. Like, give me a break. It's resistance back in November. It's breakout at the beginning of the year at 45. It is the July low at 45. This thing touches the 45 level and then absolutely jailbreaks back into 48. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Now, ultimately, like I'm long in here and it doesn't really look like much, but hey, you have a stop. You're taking like a 70-cent hit on that trade. But wow, how was I not hunting for a deeper level? And I wasn't. And that's the problem. So, I'll be happy about the fact that I went back over to NVIDIA. Probably because I'm more, we trade NVIDIA a lot more. Like, how many times are we ever trading Walgreens, right? Like, pretty much never. So I do come back into NVIDIA just to go back to this trade. I just caught a bounce off VWAP as well, but there we go. I bought a bounce off VWAP, which I'm scalping to the high of the day, but the actual breakout long I'm still hanging on to. That's this level here, and it's right back again at 213.30. The last entry we got, my average price is 213.30 now. I'm sitting on the offer in front of 215, and I think the rest of this trade is out between 16 and then 18 once we get that break. We probably do need the NASDAQ to break 15,000 to get the top end of that range, but hey, the NVIDIA could outpace the market. It already is. We've seen that happen before. Just to go back over to that Affirm trade, because with only 20 minutes to go, at this point, it's not about over trading, it's about managing what you have. It tested again down to 147, but guess what? After bouncing on a higher low, it still can't even get to 150. So I do think Affirm is still headed southbound at this point, and I'm still looking at that 145 target. Not a lot has changed when it comes to that, but James, Yeah, I'm glad I talked about it, and I appreciate that you saying the thank you. But to be perfectly honest, like that analysis was not complete without looking at some of these like deeper levels. You'll hear me say all the time, it's like, yeah, but look out for this buy, because that's like, it's a load up kind of thing. And it's like, well, pie in the sky, it's never going to get there. Well, Walgreens was a perfect example of the level that it didn't expect coming in fact did, and then it was easily the best dip buy that I can find today, and I wasn't even ready for it. We're all ready for Brendan right now because it's time for Sector Watch, and what's that one thing that's red?
USB. Right there, 3.3% to the downside for USB. I just saw Wynn here as well, 1.5% for Wynn. The rest of the hotels, casinos, all in positive territory. So heads up there for Wynn. Yeah, but otherwise, very nice day, guys. 1.3% for the S&P 500. Every sector in positive territory right across the board, led by the healthcare group and tech stocks so far today. Big moves for some of these. UNH with earnings and TM, HUM, CI, all 3 to 5.5% in positive territory. Tech stocks leading, though, it's the software makers. Look at PayPal, almost 4%, AKAM, SNPS, PTC, ANSS, to name a few, 2.5 to 3.5, all in positive territory. Semiconductors, the entire group here, all higher. Same story for hardware equipment makers. Boeing, downside, we talked a little bit about some negative headlines this morning on Boeing, 1.2%. But again, the rest of the industrial group to the upside. I mentioned UPS there with an upgrade. 3.25% today for UPS. Quickly, consumer staples, energy stocks as well, bouncing back after pretty negative days yesterday, as I said, about 1.27 for the S&P, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, shout out to Mike there, asking me if I'm okay, everything okay. Yeah, everything's great. It's just, just sitting here trading, doing my thing. I have a little bit of a headache today, so good spot on that one. I don't know why that's happening. But yeah, good talk here with Ancient One. What's up, Ancient One? Just talking about how the governments can manipulate the markets and if that's what's happening in China, that's what's happening. And you're 100% right, man. I mean, we saw, obviously, with policy that comes through from the Fed is one aspect as well. And then government spending and rhetoric coming from, you mentioned former President Trump there, and the sort of effects he had on the market. I mean, daily tweets on the market as well can have effect on that. And I don't even know if Joe Biden has a Twitter account, to be honest with you. I'm not saying this as insulting. I just don't see anything.
I'd assume no, because
I just don't see anything anymore. So that, either that's a good thing or a bad thing. It doesn't matter. Just saying that, yeah, governments can move the markets. And I think it's a good opportunity to pick up some of that.
Larry wants you to spin it.
Just, you got to do it. Larry wants me to spin it. Then Larry gets that.
Money,
there we go, Larry.
money,
Thank you so much there.
money,
30 Disney calls. What was he talking about here? We love Disney. 30 Disney calls into 150.
Let's look.
$30 Disney calls into 150. $30 Disney calls? When did you put those on? Okay, so I mean, I bought Disney at the bottom there when it was $80, $85. So I'm not sure. Obviously, I maybe just bought 30. They were worth 30, and then now they're worth 150. I'm not sure, but great, absolutely great, man. Thank you so much, Larry, and congratulations. I think Disney's one of those names that's a great buy at these levels. I mean, the streaming just keeps getting better. The content keeps getting better. I love Netflix at these levels as well. I mean, I think streaming is what it's all about, discovery as well. But yeah, I like these spots, and I think that if you're going to buy high quality, then Disney doesn't get too much higher than that. So what a great balance sheet there for Disney.
I mean, I've been holding Disney probably way too long and should have sold some. I remember Mark was always saying sell some when it got to that 200. But hey, look at this thing now. Speaking of 200, yeah, you're going to get the 50 period at 178, getting close, and the 200 sitting at 181. Those break out, and Disney is going to be a breakout back toward that 200 level. And that's a clean 10% move when in the event that it does happen. I said I wanted it if the volume picked up on that NRXP. So we got to be honest about whoops, that's still Disney. If the volume picked up on that NRXP, I said I wanted. I said I'm not averaging into the short, adding any more to it because it was working out for me, and I would take the breakout at 1250 if the volume spiked. And the volume spiked right back into these levels, and I did not get it on the way up here. It would have given you a clean, like 20 to 30 cent winner there. I will take it on the way back because I think this is now a long trade. And this is not a long that I want. I'm not taking a 1250 long to hold it all the way to $11. It's just not the style that I trade here. I think that's fine for some people if you want to do that, because even that's 1-to-1 to the high of the day, but I think you're looking for a high of the day break if you want to give it that much room. And I just want to play this maybe back to this consolidation level at 12 even. I would average in at that price, have a stop at 12. Otherwise, I'm playing it to 13 and then to the high of the day. I'm not anticipating a high of the day break. Certainly if it happens, I'm open to the breakout trade there. But I'll buy this back to 12 even. And then I'll try to take this to 13 and then 13.50 as the high of the day is at 13.75. But this is exactly what we're looking for to reverse into the long side of the trade, which I've done here. If there had been no volume, if it was lower volume here, then I probably would have stayed away from reversing into the long. But we got what we looked for, so we're into it.
I don't know. Maybe Neil could take that one. Knocked. Was been a member for 10 months. See what? I haven't been looking at GameStop, but there's an ask of 880 on GameStop that keeps getting flashed. I mean, I could flash an 880 ask if you want. I mean, it doesn't matter.
8880
about that. I don't know. Well, it's on the super chat. You can have a look at that. Yeah. So Shakib, what's up to Hydration Nation? Yeah, we're trying to pound back this water. And someone said, what is it? Black tea was good for a headache. The best thing is, and I didn't have it today, and my wife when I left was like, why don't you rub some of this? It's that peppermint halo stuff from Sage. I mean, that stuff is absolutely incredible, and I should have. I was like, nah, it'll get better on the way, and I hadn't had a coffee yet, so I was like, let me drink a coffee. Sometimes that will work as well. But yeah, so it's been really good today. Yeah, that's the problem, Cling Daddy, with commissions. You got to be very, very careful about managing your fees, and that's why I have that built into my system, fee management. So that's why I take out profit, and you always hear me say, oh, just covering the fees with this one quick trade, right? And so sometimes if you have like 1,000 shares, you can get out of 100 for 10 cents, and that would be $10, right? So it's not like it's that much, but that sort of covers the fee so that, I don't know. Anyways, it's just in my brain there. I don't know why I would do that, but yeah, it's all about the oils. Yeah, it's Sage. It's called Peppermint Halo, and it's like a lipstick thing. You rub it. It's amazing. I'm just gonna buy one and just bring it in here.
I was
today's
that day when you mentioned I was like gonna look for it and then order it for myself, and I forgot to do it in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I might do it myself.
No, I don't have neck pains or anything.
I'm gonna get to this. So thank you, Knocked, member for 10 months. So first of all, congratulations and thank you so much for supporting us. But the question, there's an ask at 880 on GME. So, 808, I assumed you meant like 188.80, which I didn't see in the book, but at 880, I'm not going to see anything up there. That wouldn't even make any sense. But if someone was flashing something at 188.80, that would mean something, because as I'm looking at GameStop, and I didn't see this on level 2, by the way, so I can't confirm that size because I didn't see it there myself. But if you look at it, it came out that double top, which, and I'll even show it here on the 15-minute. This is actually a triple top at a 188.50. So these are significant resistance levels on GameStop. But it did hold up on the way back, would spike back into 188.80, if not 88, and then reject. So if that was true, someone was flashing there, and it actually drove it back down, then I think that could be, it could be legitimate, but I never saw it myself. Brendo?
A little energy stock, guys. Moody's changing their outlook on Cosmos Energy's debt to B3, which I guess is higher from where it was. So KOS, not cost, not that cost, but KOS, Cosmos, just making a day high here on pretty good volume.
Costs.
I don't even want to look
okay, yeah, we'll look at KOS, KRS1. What time is it now? 10:49. Okay, so with only 10 minutes left, if you haven't hit the like, please do that, man. We'd love to get to 2,000 likes if we can. What are we even at right now? We're at 1 point. Come on, guys. If you're watching this, 5,000 people watching. If you haven't turned that like button around, please hit the like button. Let's get to 2,000 ASAP. That'd be absolutely fantastic.
Can we get to two? Oh, never mind.
DATS right now. Sorry, DATS.
I was going to say, can we get to 2,000 before NVIDIA gets to 215? But you guys have some work to do if that's going to be the case. Because NVIDIA is close to 215.
Well, we can get there. They can get there in one.
Here's the thing. Sometimes we talk about, the term you use is it's believe in a trade, right? And sometimes you can get stopped out in a trade and then it presents itself again. And you have to be willing to say, I liked it before, and the market's wrong, I like it again. So I did take it again. These wicks are ridiculous. It didn't go to 209, but I just got NVIDIA 215.
We don't talk about net, right? But you get that trade, and you're back to flat on the trade, right?
And now we can run it to the high.
That's what you're talking about. Believe in the trade and a great hold there. So good, so great job. And that's what I did the other day with the firm. We were negative in it. We held it. Well, we didn't get out and get back in, but it was well against us, and we did believe in that. So again, guys, thank you for supporting the show, and let's just keep on rocking and rolling. There it is, Neil. 1.9K. We're almost there. We'll get that there. So NQ touching 15,000. Great opportunity there. Let's check back in on AMC quickly there. Palantir still back to the highs, so that's going to be a good trade, but slow and steady right now. It's right back to where we bought it on that crazy day when they had that Army announcement. It did dip down to $23, but NVIDIA, Palantir, a good trade. Oh, I just downed too much water there. I was like, oh my God, where am I? Okay, AMC. Let's check out AMC as another name, obviously, that we continue to like here. Good out there at 40.50 if anybody had that. Again, I think AMC does trade around some even numbers a lot of the times, 50s, O's, things like that. So watch out. Just like that was, I say that now because of that, and then I look down and we broke 39, right? I mean, so there you go. And look where we held, 38.50. So, if you're going to learn a little bit there on some of the AMC trades today, 38.50 holds. That's why when I talk about some of the key levels, like look at 38 even holding in the pre-market. Whenever I write down AMC levels on the sheet, they're normally at those even levels. So you got to watch out for some of those plays. And there it stops right almost on a dime at 40.50 and comes all the way back down. So that's why we got out. I mean, we basically trade as we preach here because there's my out at 39.50, which was the very bottom. So sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't, man. Any was a loser, unexpected spike, sadly doubled up, but now a winner on the sheet stock. So good job, Mike, on that one as well. A lot of, I like all these thumbs up, but let's not do too many of those. What's up, Mendo? Thumbs up to you as well. Good day so far. I think that everyone in the market should be having a good day with the NASDAQ up at 1.57%. We have one loser today. So we have, obviously, AMC's been a winner. Microsoft's been a monster winner for us as well. Out right there. So that's an okay out right there for Microsoft. Palantir, we don't have to talk about that too much more. PayPal, obviously a great win for us. The only one that we stepped on ourselves with was Plug Power. And it was a good thing we got out of the way, man, because that breaking of 33, it's down to 31.65. This is actually looking like a decent bid here. I have no idea what that partnership was all about, but if you could break above here like 31, you know what, we can just get over all this. Let's just take a 32 long. I'm going to bless the 32 long on Plug Power. I'm going to have it. This probably won't hit until the show's over, but I'm going to put a bid in right now. Stop limit order through this trade. So 31.90 is that top. So we're going to take $32 on a break of Plug Power. Maybe it seems like it's overdone to the downside.
And I'm going to show you a couple of things here. And the NASDAQ, was at 15,000. Well, yeah, right at that 15,000 mark. That, of course, go back to the 7th last week. That's last week's highs. But the ES as well. Whoops, that's the wrong direction, Neil. The ES as well, getting very, very close to a 44.20 level on the top side there, which I know Arun will be concerned about. We talk about both of them as well. Like it's been a fun day. I think I was just looking at that any trade because we know this one moved yesterday. So thank you Custo with regards to Nvidia. And it's one thing I don't do very often. Sometimes on the big cap names, because I trade a lot of these like fast movers. Like if I get away from it one time, like Walgreens, I don't revisit it, and you got to make sure you do that. But this any trade, because I know some of you are looking at this. It gets really interesting, sort of holding anything above this. And this is like 780 here on the daily chart. And then I can go to the 15-minute here. And then I just look at this dip because I didn't see this. I didn't see this. But like that 780 level that we just point out there on the daily chart. Look at the dip today, right into 780. Rejection after it broke. It's immediately bouncing back and going back to the high. So that's what I mean about always go to multiple time frames. Especially like if you like an overall direction. It's not about finding something. You don't just sit there looking at charts until you find something you like. But every now and then you want to make sure you're analyzing it at every single level. I missed one level of analysis on Walgreens, and that would have been a $3 trade, right? So you want to make sure you're doing your due diligence at every phase of that trade and every phase of these time frames that we look at, and also make sure you get all of the news, which includes Money Talks with Brendan.
Nice looking chart for Ethereum today, guys. If you go to a daily time frame, you can see pretty clean technical break above that last little consolidation. So we're well above, actually 3,800. We're approaching 3,800. I was going to say well above 3,700, which was that resistance point. So you can see 6% here for ETH today, almost 3,800 again. Bitcoin trying to go about 57.5 right now, trying to get to 58,000 once again. Everything else relatively quiet so far today. The US dollar flat. Decent move down yesterday after that inflation data that we had. So a lot of these bounced back yesterday. We were talking about the Canadian dollar back to almost 81 now, 0.67 to the upside. The pound's higher, Japanese yen higher, Swiss franc to the downside today. These three as well back in positive territory. Big move there for both the Turkish lira and New Zealand, full percent to the upside. Back over to you guys.
All right. Just looking at Clover's not doing anything here. ACB, people talking about some of these marijuana names today, cannabis names, and they are going to the upside there. Bouncing off VWAP beautifully there at 730. And ACB was one of the first ones to report, I believe, a couple days ago or last week. Why isn't my daily chart loading? I have no idea. That's not what ACB looks like. But
It'd be great if it did look like
it. Yeah. If it just came to IPO right there and up. But yeah, that's not the ACB chart. So we'll have to look at that. Again, another play that I think is setting up. Hopefully my DraftKings chart will load up. And I know, and again, thanks for that. These guys were, I mean, some of our fans on the chat and our viewers talking about picking up some Clover calls and picking up some PaySafe calls. I like both of those as well. And then DraftKings right now looking to break. So, if we do believe in this NASDAQ turn is over, I think DraftKings goes back to the upside as well. So, I mean, $50 here up to, I don't know. I'm not great at like picking expirations or doing any work with options and finding the best ones, but a move up to view up of 55 seems like that could be inevitable. So one more good story comes out and we'll have that. I have no idea. I remember we talked about that, what's it called, IPO today. What was GTLB? So let's see what this looks like. I know it's not open yet, but let's just have a look what it looks like here. So I thought this was going to be like $65, something like that. Now it looks like it's going to be 92, Brendan.
I did too. So higher, obviously. It's been a busy morning, guys. Before we get out of here and get you over to Memes and Movers, here are some earnings, guys, for tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, so the banks are relatively flat today. I mean, I saw some of them, I was just looking them up, 1.3% on Bank of America is the good one. Now that's up 2.5%, so that's going to be a good one. Citigroup flat today. Can we throw that board right back up there? I mean, we didn't even really see it. Okay, so Goldman
Rio
Sachs.
Tinto.
Yeah, I mean, the bags and then some of these commodities coming through there. I don't really know. I mean, Charles Schwab, I haven't really looked at that. And then, of course, there's Alcoa as well. So
yeah, it could be, it's obviously lighter than today. It was unexpected action, I think, even to my chagrin with Walgreens, because it was an even bigger move than I anticipated. But hey, there's still a lot going. You guys are going to Memes and Movers, and we're going to go to Ms. V in a quick second. But someone asked about Lucid, and like, can you guys quickly look at that stock? And it's like, fine. It's what you want. It's up. It's moving today. We'll get to it. It bounced off the 50 period, by the way, which just came into play here. This is a great breakout trade. Just watch out. This is anytime you see a level like this, like forget about those 28s up there, but this 23.65 to about 23.80 area, you've seen the rejection it's put in this last week at that price. So if it does stall shy of that, it wouldn't surprise me. Bag your winner if you've got it down here in the last couple of days. Bag some profits on a swing or bag some day trading profits, because ultimately Lucid, it's got a lot of levels to the upside of resistance. And now we can go to Miss V. Let's see what national day it is. Oh, perfect.
Oh, wow. Hi, guys. Well, thank you very much for trading this morning with us. I hope you all are having a great day. Me and Prad are super excited to start Memes and Movers show. So, guys, jump right after to Memes and Movers or just follow the link I'm going to send on the chat. And happy National Dessert Day, everyone.
I mean, normally we get very specific days, but National Dessert Day, we don't have, the kids always want, they always say, what's for dessert? Like every single day. So, and it's normally just ice cream or something. So that's my kids' favorite dessert. Yeah, the oatmeal raisin cookies are what it's all about.
Like we get catered lunch, but there's also like a breakfast platter that comes in. And like the only pastry I take, it's like if there's oatmeal raisin cookies, I take those.
That's a solid one.
I love them. But everything out there is pretty good, man. I mean, cupcakes, sign me up.
I did. I haven't seen John Wilkins in here, but thanks for getting back to me there on Twitter yesterday. There is something coming for you. 16 months. Remember, we had
that's amazing.
A 16-monther there come through. So I'm sending you something, Mr. John Wilkins. If you are watching, thank you for the continued support on the show, and you had a lot of nice things to say about us as well. So thank you to John Wilkins.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. But hey, the day is not done. The market's testing 15,000. There's lots of moving, including AMC, GameStop, which is a perfect segue to send you to Memes and Movers, Trader Prad and Miss V.
Welcome to Memes and Movers. I'm your host, Trader Prad. This is the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Prad. And hey, guys, welcome back again. As usual, be active on the chat. Ask us anything. Don't forget to like this video. And let's get it started, Prad. It's exciting day. AMC broke $40. We have a new